Hello, MGTOWs. Hello, men. Live from sunny Cleveland, Ohio, where all the men are masculine and all the girls are pretty. Yeah. Hello, Joey. How you doing today? How's your day going?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. Yeah, I'm live from Austin, Texas today.
Austin, Texas, where all the men are masculine and
Today, how's your day going? I'm
good.
doing good.
Okay.
Good.
Sounds good. And Jeff says live from sunny Hookaville.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh man. So we went 7, 8, almost 8 hours last night, huh?
yeah. That was a good stream. We had a couple good guests in there, and
Yeah, we had a couple good guests. They were MGTOW. We didn't get trolled. But we got trolled this morning in MGTOW by Andrew Clavin and the Andrew Clavin Show. Now, I don't know. You ever use screen share on this?
uh,
Let me
no,
try. Yeah, let me try it, see what happens. Screen share. Share screen. Share screen. Too easy from two monitors. Share screen from this monitor. Okay. And let me see if I can find. Oh, can you see that?
yeah, I can see. Yeah, I'm on the phone, so
Okay, yeah, this is the Andrew Clavin show from the Daily Wire came at MGTOW. He says why MGTOW's wrong about marriage while he's selling Jesus anti-inflammatories pills. He's got the Daily Wire following, and he says MGTOW's wrong about marriage. Let me shut this down and go back. And oh shit, I didn't. Did I share it? Or
no, I didn't see it. No, I'm looking at it right now. I don't see the screen share.
okay, let me do that again then. Oh yeah, I gotta share it. I gotta. Oh yeah, I know how to do it now. Okay, that was infinity screen. Now can you see that?
Um, yeah, yeah. Now I see it. Now I see it. Yeah.
Now I see it. Okay, this is the Andrew Clavin show. It's out of the Daily Wire. He's got a Daily Wire tablet he uses, and he says MGTOW is wrong about marriage. MGTOW is wrong about marriage because, and he sells anti-inflammatory medicine from Jesus. And he's a traditional conservative. He wants to push the traditional conservative program on MGTOWs, and he says because it works. Now, now let's take this down and go back, and we don't want to look at that guy's bald, ugly head too long. And he says traditional conservative works, and one of the things he says is traditional conservatism works because MGTOWs say that it's not just getting an extra income when you get married. This
Yeah.
guy was he does a 5 minute video and he was all over the place and his syllogisms were totally wrong and he says MGTOW says this and then he brings in my friend Liz whatever her name is says that MGTOW's wrong because she doesn't like MGTOW and we're wrong because there's a Nawalt out there.
Mhm.
And you know the answer to Nawalt is AWOL. All women are like that. Why are all women like that? Because all women are like women. Plato crushed it in logic, and he says all women are like what? All women are like women. Runs to a true. All women are like that, mainly because there's a gun in the room, and he seems to deny that there's a gun in the room for men, and he seems to deny that there's risk involved with men. And then he comes out with this. What was that stupid? It's almost an insane comment on what was that? Some Milton stuff. And you know Milton. Milton lives in a fantasy fiction land of going to hell and saving his girlfriend. Uh, and he says his friend Liz. Let me was he talked about. He talked about. Uh, He talked about how to make an extra. You know what the extra income when they do the extra income thing for MGTOWs is the logic doesn't hold up because if you bring a guy in your house and he moves into a room with you and he starts sharing, you got an extra income, right?
Yeah.
Okay. if you move in your sister or brother, or you live with your father, or you live with your mother, or you live and all of you are working, or you live with 4 siblings and all of you are working, do you consider that as having 4 extra incomes?
Not always.
No, he is so wrong about that. But what he does is he says MGTOWs are confused about what feminism is. He says, and he brings the dragon up, that the dragon of feminism, and 86% of 86% of marriages in the United States are going to end up in divorce. Right now, 32% of all women in the United States are single baby mamas. And he says the problem is feminism. And he says, but feminists aren't women. So when I got married to a Christian girl and she divorced me, she automatically goes under the heading of feminines. And now the demographics are going to be the same on those. The demographics are going to be the same in divorce. It's going to be like 45% Christian, 26% non-Christian. There's going to be Muslim. There's going to be other religions, and the demographics in divorce are going to turn out exactly the same as the demographics in the population, and that's going to be a majority of Christian. And I would say, if not more, up to 68% of divorces are incited by Christian women. But those are no longer women; those are feminists, because of the dragon. You build a dragon. Now you're fencing with mythical dragons, and this and there's some evil thing up here that you can't see, and then it plays into the whole Christian. It's evil, and you just can't see it.
Yeah. Chad cuckery at its finest.
Yeah, tread cuckery at its on. Then he does the all unicorn. All you need to do is find yourself a unicorn, and
Right.
these are a waltz. All no a Nawalt. Find yourself a Nawalt, and I says pray to quash that argument. He says all women are like that because all women are women, and there's a gun in the room.
Mm-hmm.
So that quashes that argument. And then he goes into this Milton thing, and I don't even know what the hell he was talking about. He talks about his friend Liz from the Daily Wire says that Milton says there's a higher strain in marriage. And higher strain, I just kind of know this. Higher strain is an imaginative equivalence to and it was the Battle of Fairfax, and Milton writes about it twice in his he writes about it in a poem to his girlfriend that he's going to save in hell, and it's an imaginary equivalence to men that are braver. Somehow they have more of something than the rest of the men in the world. And it was the Battle of Fairfax that he was talking about in that. And then but we got to live on this. It has nothing to do with nothing in a state of affairs inside this world. You have to go outward into another world, and you have to believe in this other world where God exists, and this other world where these imaginary mythical characters that slay dragons, and there's evil feminists, and they're the dragon, and there's evil people, and there's demons, and this gets to be quite a bizarre effing world that they live in. And then they come to us MGTOWs. This Andrew Clavin guy comes to us MGTOWs, and he says we're wrong because we've just so noticed that 86% of marriages end up in divorce, and from there, if you go to second and third marriages, it only goes higher. And that's the stats. And we're not lying to these people. We're just taking the risk-free aversion from pain. But somehow we're wrong. We have to do it the way they want us to do it. And that's crazy. And all the while, they're believing in magical gods and magical physical characters, and they're magic, and everything's magic thinking to them. And they say we're delusional. That's crazy. It's just flat out crazy. And the people over there should fire that guy, because most of I can go through his 5-minute video, and there's syllogism mistakes. There's mistakes in what they said. There's huge mistakes. And what Milton was talking about was they put the women on the pedestal. It's they strain the women. It's what they're talking about when they talk about that stuff is He's talking about, God damn it, I lost it again. He's talking about what we talk about all the time, and it's filtering the male through the female filter. And that's what he's talking about when he's talking about straining through this this magic equivalence place where there are better men than every other man, and all you have to do is become a Christian, and you get a sword, and you get a steel, you get one of those what is it, those steel things that you can put on your chest, and and it's metaphysical, and you can walk around with it, and that's what Milton believed in.
The breastplate of righteousness.
Yes, the breastplate of righteousness. You get to strap on, and you get a cog piece that makes your thing look just huge.
The armor of God.
The armor of God. Yeah, and I'll tell you what. We step back and we look at as if you get married, you'll have an extra income. Two lesbians can get married and have an extra income. A family member can move in with you, have an extra income. In his world, that's your income because that's your house. And then in his house, which is he thinks is God's house, in his house, his wife's fat and pregnant, laying on a couch all day, not working. And then at night, he's making her a whore in the bed. Mm-hmm. And Jesus is standing there cheering him on, going, go deep, Andrew, go deep. Because that's their God. Their God's a fucking pervert.
Yeah, it's insane. Holy shit.
All over chasing some magical demons. Now, the problem with society is we've got traditional conservatives that believe in that sort of system, and that system failed us. Mm-hmm. That's the problem. We come back to reality, and that's the problem. Andrew Klavan, you're an idiot.
Fundamental Christians. That's what they are. They actually believe they're
fundamentalist Christian. They're trying to push that. Well, if we just go back to the 50s, everything will be okay because everything was okay back then. No, it wasn't.
No, they actually believe that there was a talking snake and an apple, literal apple. All this stuff, right? They believe.
There's so much wrong with their theology. There's just so much wrong with it, and like I always say, I can't tell you whether there's a God out there because I never met him. He's never taken the opportunity to come and visit us on earth. So that means that he really doesn't care. And if there is or if there isn't, I don't know because I wasn't instilled with that knowledge at birth. So it's a pretty cruel prank to play on people, isn't it? Man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a cruel prank for sure.
Yeah,
it's a cruel prank for sure. And then you got to look who's benefiting from that story. I mean,
who's benefiting? Yeah, who's benefiting from that?
Sure, the rich are getting richer. This guy's selling products to these naive people. They're not paying taxes. They're getting money and no taxes. Like on the.
This guy's a walking lie. He's a walking liar. Everything that comes out of his mouth is Christian bullshit, traditional lying.
Yeah. They're not very smart. And then another thing they do is they blame us. They actually call us evil.
They blame us because we don't want to engage in that kind of pain. We don't want, and what we talked about this the other day. What's the opposite of love is indifference. We're indifferent. We don't hate people. We're just indifferent to stupidity.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, he's a sicko. I mean, he's just not a very smart guy. At the end of the day, he's just not a very smart guy.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I don't know where he got his degree or what Christian college he went through. Then they passed him through because he said all the right apologetic things, or who his friends are, or what his personal relationships with women are, and that stuff. I don't care. Leave us alone. We have this thing correct. We're safe. We like being safe.
Yeah, he went out of his way to title it, MGTOW. Yeah.
He went out of his way to title it MGTOW, not even knowing that MGTOW, the Daily Wire is a liberal. I don't know if it's liberal or if it's, but these people totally don't understand when you're going after a group called Men Going Their Own Way. It's a gender group. As soon as you go after a group and say bad things about a gender group, you should be kicked off of YouTube. In the same way. But for some reason, their bizarre beliefs trump everything.
Uh-huh.
And then the person that he was reading the letter from, did you notice? He called it the Church of Calvanian, like it's a cult. Now he's got his own little cult started. Now we know what happens to cults. They're usually Christian rape cults, and then all of a sudden they're tattooing people, and they're going off into caves and burying themselves, and just a variety of stupid things.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, all of them, they can go drink the Kool-Aid as far as I'm concerned.
Well, that's why I'm glad you messaged me about doing a stream, because there's a lot of naive people out there that they believe this stuff,
They believe it. They believe
it. Yeah, they're not you're not going to benefit from that belief. That he's going to benefit because he's selling his Jesus dick pills or whatever he's.
Yeah, before the commercial that ran before was an actual sexual enhancement thing, and then the pills that he's selling are probably another sexual enhancement thing. And he's a Christian, and his God, his Jesus, is, like I said, standing at the end of his bed at night. He's the invisible Jesus in a cheerleading costume going, "Go deep, Andrew. Go deep on that."
Oh, man, it's sick, isn't it?
It's sick. How can you treat another person? And he claims to be he claims to be the guy that's going to take care of the women. And he claims, no, if that's taking care of the women, subjugating them to pregnancy and sex acts at night, then you can keep that. You can take that. And I firmly believe that most of these Christians, if there is an Antichrist, they're them. They just don't know it. They just can't look in the mirror and see that they are the Antichrist.
Yeah, they created this boogeyman, and well, you know what it does too? It just creates a really evil, or not, I should say evil, but like a fearful, like worldview. Your mother that was, watching those crime shows, and then she'd always look out her window.
Yeah, they're telling little kids and little 6-7-year-old kids that hey, you're going to go to hell, and there's a place called hell out there, and you're destined for it unless you do one thing, believe what I'm saying.
It's like that movie, The Omen or whatever. It's like, I remember when I was a kid, that movie came out or something. I was like, what the hell is this weird movie? This young kid that's the Antichrist or something. Yeah, I was like horrified. I was like,
oh my God, yeah. There's a great.
Yeah, it's like this horrifying movie, and it's like, I look at it now, I just kind of laugh, because if I ever saw that kid, I just
Rosemary's Baby and that Damien.
Yeah, Rosemary's Baby and all these kind of sick movies that are really probably funded by the church, I would say.
Right. Damien was the original book on Damien. If you ever read it, it's a French book, and it goes back to 1866 or something. You can check on me. It's called Damien, and it's a story about a little kid, but it has nothing to do. It has all these characters, the same characters and everything, but the only difference between Damien was an exceptional child. He was smarter. By the time he was like 10 years old, he could do mathematics. He can tell you things. He was an exceptional child that seemed like wizardry to them. So they made him into the evil little kid, and they killed him. And he had a friend when he was going to school. It's a weird little story about how the Christians made this kid into a demon, and he was just an exceptional child.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that's what they do. They'll take exceptional children, and so something must be wrong with him because he's out thinking us adults. And
right.
I mean, they did that to me when I was a kid. It's every time I objected to something that they were telling me, they were like, they're you're wrong. And you know what, through all high school and everything, and all the adversity I went through high school and everything with being objectionable, I still ended up with a 4.0.
Yeah, yeah. They used to say to me like, "Oh, he's too." I mean, I was just like, I was like this tough young, like I never lost a fight, right? I was like tussling, but I was also very. They used to say I was too like you're so sensitive. Like I would call people out on their shit, when I was
Yeah,
like 10 years old, 12 years old. I knew there was something wrong. And I would call people out on their shit. Like I remember and then they would say, "Oh, you're too sensitive."
yeah. I was forced to go to a school that was a public school that the Catholic school system had taken it over, and there were nuns teaching and stuff, and it was just horrendous. And back in when I was going to high school or preschool, well, 1 through 6, and then everything, they had taken over the schools, and Ohio is the northernmost southern state,
Yeah, for sure.
and they took it over, and I would question these. No, we have the same amount of. I remember telling them we have the same amount of ribs. Women and men have the same amount of ribs. If you put two skeletons up next to each other, dimorphically the size would be different, but they would look exactly alike. The only thing that's different is the hip area. That's slightly outward on a female for child rearing. That's the only thing that's different. But you got this, oh, God took a rib from Adam, so we only got so many of them. That's like, and it's like, that's the stupidest thing. Darwin's rib. Go read Darwin's rib.
Yeah.
There's these they're living in a fantasy fiction world that they make up stupid shit. And the second stupidest thing besides Darwin's rib is fatherhood. And that's one of these things we just have to defeat. We have to defeat these traditional conservatives because, man, they're so bad for society.
Yeah. Well, and then you got guys like this guy. I just quite frankly, I'm starting to think they're just stupid. I mean, they're just, I mean, like he appears to be a smart guy, but he's really not. You listen to what he's saying.
No, he's just most of the people that do broadcasting are they have some of the lowest IQs there are, so they do that very well. They're like almost autistic when they do that. I mean, I told you the story about a friend of mine's son. He's autistic as hell too, and he has a YouTube account where he says things, but he has to come out and ask us, what does this look like to you? Because he can't tell sarcasm, and he says, is this funny? And then he'll go put it in his videos, and he's got 100,000 followers, and they have no idea that he's autistic. And that's what this guy probably is. He's just 100% pure idiot.
Yeah, he's a pure idiot, unfortunately. But that Christian audience is they're easy to manipulate, and
yeah, they're easy as long as you say what they want. As long as you say what they want to hear, and most of it's simping and get married, and Jesus will come visit you. And but we know all that stuff is not true because most of us in MGTOW were ex-Christians and ex whatever you were, and we found out that whole traditional thing didn't work. Because one thing, there's a gun in the room, and women can pull that gun out anytime they want to have gifts and prizes.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh.
Crazy, man. It's just there's just so many of them. They're everywhere, and I mean the whole thing that's just a mess. But that's why we have to. It's good we do these podcasts to kind of show the other side of it, because he's leading people down a terrible path. I mean,
right? It's back to that.
Yeah, because then what happens is if they take this guy's bad advice and end up getting married, and then it doesn't work out. Like I was telling you in the chat, like they're advocating, well, you didn't do it good enough, you didn't try hard enough, or whatever.
So you did something wrong.
You did something wrong. You're not making enough money. You're not doing this. you're not simping hard enough, whatever. So it confuses the shit out of people, and that's what leads to like people getting into like possible suicide or
Right.
alcoholism or substance
Right. Yeah.
abuse.
Yeah. I don't,
Yeah, because it confuses people like really bad. So it's good that way. I think these podcasts that we're doing, are good for the community, for men. That we're sharing
yeah.
information.
Yeah. I just want to point out the fictional thinking. And when he said that higher strain thing, it just clicked. It was just, it's an imaginative equivalence. And it just clicked as more fantasy fiction thinking that it's ambiguous too, and people can't figure it out, so they fill in the blanks on that. And stupid people will do that. They'll just fill in the blanks with whatever they think it is.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh God. And we are talking about Milton too. Milton was 17, I can't remember, 1743 or something like that. And if
yeah.
I'm wrong, correct me. Uh, and he was fighting with the church, and he wanted to bring in what? He wanted to bring around divorce. So quoting Milton was just like, duh.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the King of England wanted to get divorced, because he couldn't have boy children. Jesus.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's a wasp thinking. It's probably a wasp.
God, I mean, yeah, they're just. My cousin and I used to kind of joke around about wasps and like how they're just so like they don't like bring anything to the table.
No, they
All they
are
do is take. All they do is take, take, take. They don't. Their food
take.
sucks. Yeah, their food sucks. They
Mhm.
have like no emotion. Like
Yeah.
there's no passion behind their words. I mean, I don't know. I'm just not a fan of.
The only thing they brought to this world is the divorce courts,
Yeah, they just don't. They just
which
have like.
subjugates men to slavery.
I don't communicate well with them. They don't. I just. Yeah, they're just. Yeah, exactly. They just want people. They're the guy. They were the ones with the whips, and you're not working hard enough. They're like that guy. Bill. What's that movie with the guy? Billy. Not Billy Bathgate. Billy Budd. Billy Budd. Remember that movie, Billy Budd?
Oh, Billy Budd. Yeah, I used to have. It was the
Yeah,
book Billy Budd. He comes from
Billy Budd, and the guy that ran the ship,
right.
Taggart. Is that his name? So
Yeah,
that's like Taggart. That's like the wasp, Taggart. I don't know. I know all wasps are not like that. Listen, I have friends that are wasps. I'm not trying to just single them out, but most of them are just like not most of them. I shouldn't say most of them, but it seems like a lot. Their culture is all about Taggart, just being like this little son of a bitch running this ship. And Billy Budd's this guy that has this enthusiasm for life, and
right. That's
it's like, and he just wants to squash it. And yeah, that movie really stuck out for me when I watched it when I was, this is 30 years ago. I watched it or whatever in English class or whatever. I thought it was a great movie. Yeah.
Yeah,
Billy Budd, right? Yeah.
Billy Budd was Herman Melville is Billy Budd. I used to have an original printing of that, and I lost that in the divorce.
You did? You had an original printing?
I had an original printing of Billy Budd. It was one of the first ones to come off the original presses in like 1812 or something like that. I can't remember when. It was just one of the original printings, and it was 1891, or so it was. That was published in 1924, the second only to Moby Dick. But it was 1891 when Herman Melville's death, and Billy Budd was published after Herman Melville's death.
It was Claggart. Yeah, Claggart was the guy.
Yeah.
Not Taggart, Claggart. I don't know. It's been a long time I haven't watched it.
But
he reminds me of those guys. That's like those like those figures in authority. You have to be the people that are in authority. Those are the ones you have to question more than anything. Quite frankly, 99 of 100 times you can't trust them. You can't really befriend them or trust them because they don't have your best interest in mind.
Can you go on for a second? I have to check something.
Yeah.
There's someone creeping.
Yeah.
Creeping around my house.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I think those authoritative figures you have to. I mean, obviously at work we have them, but Wasp, yeah. Claire, you can't be a MGTOW. No, but anyway, those are the people that we need to question more than anything. People in authority, and they deserve to be questioned. They're in these leadership, quote unquote, leadership roles, but most of them are not leaders. So I don't know. This video definitely doesn't help men. Because it's advocating men to slave harder and give into authority. So anyway, at work we kind of just have to play the game because we need money to live. But you can choose a place to work or people to be around. You want to choose people that are honest. That I don't know if this guy's not honest or what his deal is, but I just know that he's not the kind of person that is going to help you. I know that. And that's I think that points to like traditional authority. Those are the people that need to be questioned more than any figure. Yeah. Are we live? Yeah, it's still untamed. Well, I mean, I'm just not making fun of Wasp. They pretty much are the power elite. Is that group? So, I mean, if you can't see that, then I don't know what you're observing, because it's not. It's
Sorry about that.
Yeah. No, just still untamed. Said Wasp ? And they hide it really well. These wasps hide it really well, but they're really the power elite in this planet. They're on this planet. There's no doubt about it.
Well, it's a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant.
Absolutely, without a doubt. Like people want to blame it on I don't know if we can say that word, but they want to blame it on a certain small group that runs a lot of banking, but that's not
right.
They have some power, but they really don't have, like, most of that power is that Wasp. They own most of this property, and they just keep it.
Illuminati. Just don't look farther than that.
Yeah, they hide it so well. They hide it so well. So they got you. It's like a magic trick, right? They're this one hand's moving, but the other hand's doing all the work behind the scenes. And
yeah, it's always look at the Muslims, look at the Christians, look at the Catholics, look at everybody else.
The Judeo-Christian. I mean, we make fun of Judeo-Christianity, but look at the Catholic. Would you say the Catholic? Yeah, the Catholics. Look at exactly. But they're the ones that the Wasps are the ones that they set the narrative. They're the ones controlling the narrative in history and all this kind of stuff. They're running things without you knowing it. And people will say, "Oh, I don't know what I'm talking about," but you just haven't done enough research. I mean, it needs to just do the observation. Look around you.
Yeah, they broke away from the institutionalized church, either the and let's do a little history. Jesus Christ supposedly gave the Church of St. Peter, so it's the Church of St. Peter, Russian Orthodox. So they broke away from Russian Orthodox, and they broke away from the Christian, the Catholics, and then what they broke away from is Milton. Milton wrote these sonnets and everything, and it was pro-divorce. And the king wanted to get a divorce because he couldn't bear a male child with Anne Boleyn. I'm not sure if it was the Anne Boleyn story or not. Correct me if I'm wrong. And so he killed his first wife, killed his second wife, and it was Henry VIII. Was it Henry VIII? It was, something like that. And I'm not really great with English history, but he needed to get a divorce and feel good about it. So they gave him a divorce and said God had magically made divorce okay.
Yeah.
And that's where divorce started from. Because you should be able to choose, but if you're a man, you don't. You can get a divorce if you're a man. You just can't get rid of all the responsibility for that. So it's nothing. It's like having a name tag.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm divorced. Oh yeah, you have a name tag. You still have all the responsibilities of that females choose to disregard after. They're strong girls right up to the point. It's their choice, their body, right up to the point of taking that, and then all of a sudden it's everybody else's fault except for theirs. They didn't have no agency in that because they're just poor little girls that were raped.
Oh man, what a yes.
What a world we live in.
I
Jeez.
know this world is like people don't understand. I don't think they understand how insane this world
It's
is. Like
insane. It's absurd.
it's absurd. It's insane. You got insane. You got people that are in leadership positions that are not leaders. They're the furthest thing from
Yeah,
being a
they're
leader.
furthest thing from leaders.
Right, right, and yeah. So those, and I don't know. It's so you have to understand the world you live in, and then listen to the right people that are giving you good information. And this is a classic example. A guy just giving you terrible advice, and then like you said, these guys will throw it back at you. Well, you didn't do it. You didn't do it.
You didn't do it right, Joe. You didn't suffer hard enough.
Yeah, you didn't suffer hard enough. You forgot that one verse in the Bible. You forgot that
Yeah.
about long suffering.
That one. I forgot
Whatever.
about that one. And
Yeah, you read the entire Bible and you studied it, but there's one verse that you forgot. If you had read that, you would have been fine.
damn it, he gives you a slap on the ass and go out there and get back on that horse and get back in the game.
Yeah.
Do
Love
it
your
again.
wife like Jesus loved the church, or yeah,
That's ridiculous. And
it's so terrible.
and today we shouldn't have to put up with it. I mean, we really shouldn't have to put it. If God exists, show him.
Right. It doesn't exist. If they're ever gonna, if anything, I mean, I'm sure the military has enough technology now to kind of stage an event to make it look like there's these aliens or God or whatever, and they might do that down the line, but that's not.
Yeah,
guys like us will call bullshit and we'll just go back to sleep.
Yeah, we'll just.
I'll just what's going on? Oh, there's aliens attacking the car. Oh, yeah, I'm taking it.
Even if there's aliens, that's just a disproof of God then.
Right.
And he must be farther than the universe. He's sitting in some other universe then.
Yeah.
It keeps getting farther away. The goalposts move on God. Remember,
right.
It's like first he was in the desert, and then he was up on that mountain. Then he was in the sky. And then the cosmonaut went to the sky, and the Russian guy says, "Did you see God?" And he goes, "Nope, he's not up here." And he must be at the edge of the universe, which we can't get to, or one of those planets out there. He must be over there. And then we got to the edge of the universe, and we looked, and he was not there. So now he must be he's invisible, and he's all around us.
Yeah, exactly. The spirit world.
Yeah, and these are the same people that believe in like the world doesn't really exist. It's all a matter of your consciousness and that sort of bullshit. Well, that's a wall, and it exists.
Right. You're gonna feel it if you fall down and down.
Yeah, you fall against the cement, you're gonna feel it, and that really exists. And we really have to live on this terrestrial plane in this reality.
You mean it's not a holographic universe, Joe?
It's not a holographic universe in the Matrix. Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard some people say, we're living in a holographic universe within a holographic universe within a holographic. It's like it just never ends. Like how the stupidity.
Oh yeah, that's the alternate universe. Just other.
It's like that Matrix movie. Movie. It's kind of a bunch of horseshit. Like if you can't see that,
come on back. Yeah. Yeah, the idea is a metaphysical idea that someone else is controlling what we do. Now, the people that are controlling what we do are, yes, the Christians, the government that is run by a Christian organization, and here in America at least, and 95% of them believe in marriage, and a good part of them believe that there's some God's going to take your soul from you when you die and then replant it and all and everything back into another body up in this fantasy fiction land up there on the clouds. Jesus. I mean, how can you trust people that believe like that?
Well, then another thing too that comes to mind is it really takes away the the person's like responsibility. Like you're almost
right.
you're creating this culture of like irresponsible people, right? That
You're
it's not
creating a
my,
culture of
yeah.
irresponsible people. They get forgiven for all of their sins.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh, as long as we go to church on Sunday, hey, who gives a shit if I'm screwing my neighbor's wife or I'm
Yeah. We don't have to ask you. And
or who gives a shit if I'm doing shady business deals or selling drugs or doing stupid shit,
right. You look at their.
yeah, selling drugs is like stuff like that. Like that really bothers me. Oh, I'm just a business deal. No, you're not. You're messing with people's minds, and that's
Yeah, you're screwing up people's lives, and yeah, you look at half the businesses and half these people. They're all going to church on Sunday, and
right, right. They're going
metaphysical
to church
Jesus
and they're putting money
forgiving
in
them
the
for
plate.
that horrible stuff they're doing all week, and then they go back and they do it again, and go back again on Sunday, and again on Sunday, and again on Sunday.
Right, right, and
I can't think of the last time I did something wrong to somebody.
I know. I can't. I mean, I think I broke a lease early once, like but I didn't even like screw the
Some kind
guy.
of
I
minor
like let him
infraction.
keep my deposit. I felt terrible, but I let him keep my deposit, and
Yeah,
I
that's
left the
I've done
place
that.
like
Let them keep
super
my
clean,
deposit.
and like, yeah, I left the place like super immaculate clean. That's like probably the worst thing I've ever done to another human being.
Right. Yeah, I remember this apartment I was living in. The guy didn't. I went half the winter without a furnace, and then he never put in the wood floor like he promised. And then at the end, he was like, "Oh, you gotta, you know." And I said, "Just keep. I'm out of here." It's like, what an idiot.
Yeah.
Landlords are idiots, and
They
I've
are.
got
They are idiots. They are
I got a
idiots.
whole
For
thing
me, I'm
about
like when I was a landlord, I would let the fucking guy get away with so much shit,
yeah.
So I'm like a bad landlord because I don't really.
Yeah, what I always say about it, it took me a long time to come to the belief that we have two classes. We have a renter class and we have an owner class in this thing, and you have to pay rent to the owner class, and that's classism. That's another class of people that are above you.
This guy in Vegas I used to play cards with. He was like this old, like little, old grumpy man kind of guy. But I
Yeah,
could tell he was really smart. I don't know what the hell he did. I didn't ask, but you get a lot of these guys in Vegas that are retired and they're really fucking smart, man. But he told me there's two types of people. He was the one that was telling me this is when I was a Christian, right? He was telling me about the stupidity of Christianity, and I just kind of dismissed him. But I remember one thing he said to me. He goes, "There's two types of he was one of these guys. Two types of people." He says people that people that write checks, and then people that cash checks.
yeah,
And I thought that was kind of a brilliant thing because I hadn't heard that before. But it makes a lot of sense, right? You're writing a check to the guy, and there's other guys cashing them, keep cashing those checks. He was an interesting guy. I don't know. I'm just curious what he was a pretty interesting. He stood out to me, and I don't know if he's still around. Grumpy guy, but he was really smart. And
yeah.
that's what I see with these Christians and these people in power. They're just cashing your check. They're laughing at you and taking your money. And then guys like us, when we catch on to their scam,
Right.
that's when they get pissed off, right? That's when they get pissed off.
Right. Yeah. There's a. I mean, our whole system is based on what was the words I used yesterday? It was it's based on predatory lending, predatorial behavior, and that's the world we live on. The force wins. Who can give the most amount of force wins. And right now it's just running away with who can be the stupidest.
Right. It's a finesse game now because
it's a finesse game.
It's a finesse game because in nature, it's like whoever's the strongest one is the one that's going to control the tribe or whatever, right? Like this, but now it's all like it's a finesse. Who can finesse who can con who over, right? So it's
who can be crafty, cunning.
Yeah, the con man is the one that's always kind of like he understands the law book better than anybody, right? He's the judge, and they can get together and try to find loopholes and shit, and and that's why it's always these simpy guys that are always going to be scamming and They never have enough money either. That's another thing I noticed too. They never have enough money.
Yeah,
They're always,
it
they
is
always
ever
want more.
enough. Yeah,
Yeah,
Simpsons paradox. The rich people want more. Poor people have hope.
right, right, right. It's
They'll feed you a lot of hope. That's the whole upper room. It's a staircase to the upper room. Somewhere there's a staircase to the upper room, and we just got to get to that upper room.
yeah. They sell hope and they sell faith and they sell love, and those ideas don't even, they're metaphysical ideas. I mean, this whole idea of love is just so stupid because you like if let's say you're married and it's supposed to be love till death do us part, all this kind of stuff, and then if a man gets hospitalized and can't earn anymore, like you don't
Right.
see women like taking care of the man or
No, no, that doesn't happen. They discard him,
right,
divorce him, and discard him to a nursing facility. And there might even not be. He just may be disabled from working for a long period of time. But after that, she's run through everything and divorce him, take half, and leave. And hypergamy works its way.
yeah, exactly. And we just got to catch on to these things. I hope it's never too late to learn and become free. And it took me in probably into my 30. I started listening to MGTOW stuff in my mid 30s probably, and now I'm late 40s, and so you just got to keep thinking and studying and understanding your world, and to kind of get the full benefit of it of
Yeah,
MGTOW.
just try to learn what
Um,
people are, and people are they have dark issues, and there's
right,
dark
right,
psychology out there, and they're always
right,
trying to get one up. Most of these people, I talked about a guy once. He these people believe everything you own is theirs. They just have to figure it out how to get it.
right. That's That's why you always keep your mouth shut when it comes to finances. You don't tell anyone your business. You don't drive around fancy cars. My uncle said that to me. He was a wise guy. And my uncle was a wise guy. I'll admit it. He was. He was a wise guy. And he was, I don't know how deep he was into the family, but one thing he told me when I was like 19, I went to go see him. We drank the wine, and people look at me. I'm dressed like a bum and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff. And he goes, well, he, and he used to say, no exposure. Don't ever go walk around with fancy clothes. Don't walk around,
yeah. If you want to fund your local police department, just buy a Cadillac. Because every
yeah,
time you drive through some towns, you're going to get a ticket because they know you
yeah,
can afford it.
yeah. And that's an important thing to understand, because you don't want to be that. Like RP talks about, peacocking a lot, and he's absolutely right. And you don't want to be, and you don't. Another thing too, we don't want to be the alpha male. You don't want to present yourself as the alpha male, because you're a target. You don't want a target on your back. You want to just be
You're going to be the guy that everybody's
yeah,
signing up against.
yeah. Be low key. Whatever. You don't want to flash a lot of money. All the guys I've known that used to flash money, they
Oh,
got
yeah.
robbed. Most of them got robbed, man. You don't want to brag about how much money you made, whatever. You don't want to be a brat. Like, don't be that guy. Just be very low key
Oh,
and
yeah. I watched a horrible example. My little brother. He's quite a personality. He's in prison for the rest of his life. But I watched him do something once that was just really. It was just. I didn't know if I liked it or disliked what he did. But there used to be a guy that came in the shop every day, and he'd pull out his wallet, and the maintenance men would eat lunch in this certain area, and so he'd pull out his wallet and he would just pull a big stack of bills out this big, and he'd
yeah,
start counting his money, and it was like $11,000 to $15,000 all the time. And
yeah,
my my little shill brother that's in prison now, he walks in and he goes, "Hey, where do you drink at?"
yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
very next day, that guy came in with a big shiner, and he wouldn't even talk to me. And I thought, oh yeah, yeah, Timmy got him.
Well, and eventually, I don't know what happened. I don't know how your brother ended up, but that's even okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Like, he
You're breaking up.
wrong. Right. There was a scene on The Sopranos. Paulie, just a little. There was like a dinner scene with his mother, like, who was this
Yeah,
70-year-old lady. I don't know if you remember that scene with him, and and Paulie's like mother's friends, so like 3 old ladies in their
Okay.
70s, maybe
Yeah.
close to 80. And like she mentioned something about, oh, you still keep the money in your mattress? What does Paulie do? Next day he goes there and he robs the woman, and she's this like feisty old lady, and she just takes shit from him. He ends up killing her, and then
Yeah. Yeah. No, keep that stuff quiet or keep it well hidden in a safe. And
Yeah, and I had a friend in Vegas when we first came out here 25 years ago. He's a little midget kid. He was a loan shark. This guy, he's like a little fucking little midget.
oh
So
yeah.
he used to have me around, and I realized later why he had me around. Like just in case some shit happened, right? And I wasn't there, but he was counting. I go, what the hell happened? He goes, I got robbed. I just got robbed. I go, it was like $2,000 or $3,000. This is back 25 years ago. And what he did is he was counting his money at the counter. Like he went to go buy a sandwich and he pulled out his little wad he had, and some guy asked him what time it was, like on the strip.
Yeah.
And he looked at his watch, and the guy went right in his pocket, took his money. He had a getaway car there. So this kind of shit happened. So they're eyeing you. I had another friend in Bellagio. He got robbed for like $5,000-$10,000. He's a poker player, and he got bumped. These are kind of scams that they go. He got bumped, and then he got distracted. Some guy bumped him on purpose, got distracted, and the other guy went in his pocket, and then he had all that money. He got robbed. So like you have to be smart out there, because the main thing here is we're talking about a predatory world, and those are low level
people are thieves, and people
those are low level scams. Yeah, those are low level scams. But the Christianity thing and the religious stuff and the those are like high level, right? Those are like super high level scams, because you're talking about probably trillions of dollars, big money, not a few $1,000s, but
no, they got the biggest scam in the world, and
yeah. I mean, how does a guy like Pat Robertson and Kenneth Copeland and Joyce Myers and Creflo Dollar, all these people, Bill Hybels, all these guys, they're multi. I think some of them are billionaires, and worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and they justify it in their head, saying, "Oh, well, we're God's chosen ones," or whatever, like crazy shit. And but they should not be worth that kind of money. but they're scamming people so well. Yeah. Anyway, what were we talking about? With that guy, Andrew.
What's that old joke about how much to give to God?
I don't know.
So you bring your paycheck home, and you throw it up in the air, and he'll take what he wants, and the rest will land.
God, it's just so terrible what they do to these people, and they're just like, "Oh, plant your seed. Ooh, plant your seed. If you plant your seed, God will give you back tenfold. And try it. I want to see you try it." But it's like a fantasy. It's really bad. I remember one year, like when I was a Christian, I was like 25, and I gave I think I don't even want to. It's just disgusting to even say it, but it was a lot. It was pretty good chunk of money.
The funny part is I never got a dime back from God.
No, I know. This is like 20 years ago. I gave a nice chunk of money like over the year, because it was my first job out of college, and I was like thanking God. Oh, thank God for I got this job. But you know what? No, it was me. I did the work. I went to school. I wrote those. I wrote those term papers. I took those. You know what I mean? I did the work to position myself to get that job. And I got a good job out of college. And I was like, oh no, it was God. It was all God. So then I'm giving money to the church, and like a sucker that I was.
Mm-hmm.
And then what do they do with the money? They're just paying this pastor who's teaching a bunch of garbage to people, and they got to pay for their big building, and then meanwhile you see homeless people in your same city, and you're like shaking your head, and it's just a terrible thing. It took me all these years to kind of see the hypocrisy of it.
Yeah, it's funny that that God always agrees with them too.
Yeah. It's bad, man. It's so bad. But this guy Andrew, whatever his name is, Andrew, selling dick pills and.
Right, yeah, he's selling inflammation pills, and it's got a little picture of Jesus, and he's really healthy.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 it's just it's insane, really.
Yeah, yeah, the Andrew Clavin Show. I've never heard of that show until now.
Cliff Clavin. That sounds like Cliff Clavin on Cheers.
Yeah, it's on the he it's through the Daily Wire, and I don't know what the Daily Wire is.
I wonder if he's related to Cliff Clavin. On Cheers. The mailman. Remember that guy? Cliff
Kind of looks like him.
Clavin?
Yeah,
But these guys are everywhere. These guys are everywhere selling their stupid books and Lee Strobel. I don't know if you know him. He was just no, my favorite story was Barry Minkow. You ever hear that guy? Barry Minkow? He was like he like ran like this stock scam, and he went to jail, and all of a sudden he found Jesus, and then he was running his church, but then he ran another scam when he was in church, and I think he ended up going back to jail. And I mean, it's just I don't know. It's like the Son of Sam. Remember the Son of Sam? He was.
Yeah, that's why my little brother's in jail.
The Son of Sam became a Christian too. Oh, your little brother,
yeah, the one that's in jail for the rest of his life. He was he was always a scammer. Then he figured out the Christian scam, and he started a church, and then he started raping little girls.
Jeez, that's disgusting. See, that's the guy right there. Like, I never thought I'd be capable of put it that way. But if I was like if it was like my niece or something, and like I'll never have children, but I think I'd have to take care of like I never thought I had that in me, and then but I did some introspection, and it's like, no, I got it in me. If something's happening, and that's not simping to me, that's just a disgusting thing. Like that Sandusky thing,
right?
Like if I see that Sandusky thing in the shower, I mean, there's something going to happen there. There's something going to happen. I'm going to give him a beating right there, and it might be really bad for him. And or I'm going to pursue it. Like what Paterno did was terrible. Like Paterno just tried to cover it up.
Yeah,
no, right. And he's supposed to be a leader. You're supposed to be Joe Paterno. You're supposed to be a leader. How do you cover something like that up?
Yeah, we got the guy up in Michigan State. He was the doctor up there that Nasser raping the little athletes, and and then we got Jim Jordan, which should be spelled GYM Jordan, and he's a big politician and never went to jail for any of his oversights on little boys getting raped in his gym.
Yeah, disgusting.
And he's a politician.
Right, that goes to show that they're not leaders. Just because you're in a leadership, a quote unquote leadership role, doesn't make you a leader.
But isn't it funny? It's always these are supposed to be the good Christian people. These were supposed to be the leaders. These were supposed to be they're just a bunch of rapist perverts.
Right.
It's no wonder they think that way, because their God's cheering on for that.
Yeah. That Sandusky guy was really creepy, huh? Very.
Oh God, yeah.
And Paterno covered it up, and that guy with the redhead. That's his name. Who's that guy? That I don't know his name. He was. They all try to cover it up.
Right.
And then that DA went missing. What does that tell you?
Yeah.
The DA went missing. That tells you some powerful people were involved with what was going on there. There's no doubt. Right. Why would he get taken care of? It's like some people. You know what I mean? So they're vile people. They really are. A lot of them are just very vile. These politics.
Right. Yeah. Most of politicians and everything, and they're just covering up for the whole. They're garbage thinking. I don't care which one it is. Probably some of them are okay that don't have. If they're atheists or they're just humanists, they probably have some decent thoughts, and they could help this world. But what I look at, and then we look at the family court system. We look at the baby mama system and everything. And most of us men pay taxes to the Health and Human Service system that's supposed to take care of this. And then they double tax the men, and all the money that was supposed to go through it goes up into the government and magically does not come back down to take care of the baby mamas.
Yeah.
So whose fault? It's not the baby mamas. It's not these evil feminists. It's the government stealing the money that us men altruistically give in our taxes.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a different way to look at that, but we can't explain that to the MRA. There's some evil feminism thing out there, and them evil feminists are all those girls that got divorced. Somehow they're not women anymore. They're evil feminists.
Yeah, yeah.
No, they just they made a choice to be taken care of for the rest of their life by pimp daddy Uncle Sam and hold men responsible for all their problems and never find agency.
Well, that like the way that guy was saying, it's like those feminists are not playing ball. They're not.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to blame the feminists that they're not playing ball. I think,
Yeah.
right? I think that's what it is. Like right? He just, they need to be more traditional conservative.
Yeah, they need to just get on the traditional conservative train and just start playing ball and just be fat and pregnant and just give up that body at night.
Right.
No wonder they don't want that shit.
It's so absurd. The whole thing is so absurd, though. Like you said, like women, like, right, once they have the baby, they're not responsible anymore.
No, they're not responsible anymore. Yeah, they were strong, independent girls right up to the time where they have cryptic choice and they're going to make their decisions and my body, my choice, right up to the point where they get pregnant, and then it's like he made me pregnant. No, he didn't. You opened your legs. You got pregnant. Your body does that. I don't get pregnant.
I've been lucky in my life, man. Because I knew, like, I instinctively, I think I was probably born in, like SFM. I was born, like he said, that you're born with a cigar in your mouth. Like
Yeah.
I kind of feel like I was in a lot of ways because I never really got too close to getting a woman pregnant.
Yeah.
I never did. I even knew it. And believe me, I was hooking up with some pretty good looking women, and I just knew that I know where babies come from, and I know the situation is going to be probably not good. And this is like 25 years ago. I kind of knew instinctively that this is not a good deal because I saw the stress that my father put himself through, and not that we were bad kids, but like he just had to take care of like this big family in Italy, and because they were all like leaning on him because he was a workhorse. So I kind of pieced it together a little bit. How well I'm going to be responsible for all these kids, and all this. It's a stressful life. I don't like the stress. I don't want, and I can handle. And the thing is, when you're young, you can kind of handle it a little bit because your body's strong.
Right.
But when you get older, like now, I'm at the point now. Well, like I don't even really. I just want to make enough money to just pay my bills. And that's it. I don't really want to kill myself for any company or anything anymore. I'm done. I just want to take it easy now.
Yeah, I mean, you can't buy it away either. You're not that rich where you can just buy it away.
Mm-hmm. But as a MGTOW, you're so strong. You have so much power because now it's like you only have. I'm only responsible for myself.
Right, and I think that's half the problem. The top 10% can just easily just say, "Well, just man up, wait," and because they can buy it away.
Right.
It doesn't hurt them any. There's no pain involved with that. But the rest of the lower 70% of us, we can't just do that.
Right.
Yeah, you have to take on 2 jobs. You have to live in a one room. They don't know what that's like.
Right.
You have to be a slave to somebody else. That really you had really hardly anything to do with that at all. You're just stuck with that because there's these Christians that believe in fatherhood.
Right.
They believe they get pregnant too. That's delusional. That's called Corvad's disease.
Yeah.
Mental illness.
Yeah.
Their whole religion is based on a mental fucking illness.
Yeah, no question. It's based on myth for sure.
Myth.
That myth. And the clues are there. I mean, come on. Somebody's going to be in the belly of a whale. You got this guy with this magical hair that's got all this power and to kill lions with his hands. You got a snake that talks. You got a donkey that talks.
Yeah.
I always talk about Christianity because I was deep into that crap, and there's so many different, like even like Hindus. What's that Medusa? What's that Medusa figure? Shiva, the destroyer. What's her name? I don't know.
Oh yeah, that was from the 12 cousins, and they had the one with all the hands. Now there's Krishna, and Krishna was from the Bhagavad Gita, and that's pretty good existential stuff.
But I guess Yeah, and I guess they're all taking naps right now. They don't just haven't been
Yeah, they're all
around.
just laid around, and I like the story of Arjuna and Krishna, and Krishna is actually the chariot driver, and it's just, it's just
So many crazy stories. Just
yeah,
so many.
crazy stories and
A guy
everything.
that a guy that was guy that died and he was rose again 3 days later, and now they got Easter egg hunts. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
Ooh, Easter egg hunts. Yeah.
We got the Easter egg hunts. What's the word I'm looking for? Begins with a C. Commemorate. What's the word? I don't know.
That's right.
Yeah, commiserate his existence. Yeah, is a reminder of his existence. You know, it's so ridiculous. It's
It's
like,
so ridiculous. Yeah, it's time for the world to wake up.
yeah, that's right.
Are
That's
living
right.
in the world we live in, and start thinking about everybody as equal, and
Yeah, that's right.
start thinking we need. There's too many people on this planet, and we have to have some source of birth control, and it's just it's come to that point, or else we're going to destroy our planet.
Yeah, yeah,
Mick was just saying, no, we're going to duck out of this thing now, and hopefully we can have an impact on, and we are having an impact. It's like,
yeah. I think so. I think
we,
so for sure. There's not. I don't think there's a lot of MGTOW. But it's getting there. All it takes is one MGTOW in a community really to start changing things a little bit. Just the way
yeah,
they act and how you carry yourself
man, can you imagine if there's
yeah.
ever a famine in this world?
Yeah, I know. Well, there's people in the city. They think the food comes from like a magic. They don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, there's going to be like 5 billion, 4 billion people dead.
Yeah, yeah. Well, then the hunters will, guys like us that can. It'd take me like a day to learn how to hunt effectively, right? I just have to go hang out with Joe for a day. He'll teach me how to hunt, and I got the strength and mental fortitude to do it. It's not a big deal. Like I
Yeah,
can learn it really quick, and I'm not you know what I mean. If I got to eat, I'll take care of it. Whatever. I'll do what I got to do.
start growing. I haven't even put my garden in this year yet. I got to do that this week.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people that couldn't do those type of things. They just don't have the physical strength or the mental strength, and
Right, that's
everything's gone easy for them. Yeah, they want bottled water. What'd you say? Was that you that said bottled water comes out of a tree or something?
yeah. They want bottled water that grows on trees, and it's like, where's that bottled water tree?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's weird, man. The world's changed so much, but it's almost like the world's like it just caters to these con men. That's who it caters to these days.
Right, yeah, it's all a scam. Our government's a scam. They just figured out how to make the poor people pay for their existence.
Yeah, that's right. They're
It's
not killing
racketeering.
themselves.
They're giving you. They're saying there's some evil out there, and they're protecting you from it. It's the same thing the mafia does.
Right, right, right. And they're full of those guys. Never, they never mess with me.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
know they don't. They're smart enough not to mess with me because they know I'm going to give them shit back. It's like I'm not going to take any shit from you guys. And
Yeah,
if I gotta go down for that, then screw it. I'm not afraid. Like you're not going to strong arm. My uncle, his guy's brother was another guy. They tried to strong arm him. He said, "You're not going to bulldoze me." That's what he said to him. Like my
yeah.
uncle said that to these guys out in Springfield. He was out in upstate, and the Springfield crew tried to come in and take his shit. He said, "You're not going to bulldoze me," because And I think that scotch he drank every morning probably gave him a little extra courage. But
It gave him a little extra courage. Yeah,
so he didn't take any. Yeah, because he was from Italy too. He didn't take any. Like he didn't care. You're but we're in this organization. He didn't give a shit. Like screw you. He's like screw you. And he had to go on the lam for a while though. But that's the thing. I think as a MGTOW, we don't take shit from people. We're not going to be a slave to people. People aren't going to strong arm us. It's just not going to happen. We're not going to be stupid about it. But
yeah. You figure you just look at the racketeering of the church. There's this evil that wouldn't exist if the church didn't exist. So the evil wouldn't exist. That's racketeering in its finest.
yeah. That and That's the thing. That's the biggest scam, because they got their little nice little cute little, I shouldn't say cute, but they got their nice little polite priest in the front of the church, shaking everyone's
Yeah.
hand. He's the one that's robbing you more than anybody.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I hate to say that, I grew up an altar boy and all this kind of stuff, and I really liked the priest I used to, do mass with. He's a really great guy, and
Yeah. Yeah. They could be really great people, but it's just that's lately. I don't know if it's the last 20, 30 years. It's just these people have turned into real idiots.
yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, JK's eating a Reuben sandwich.
Reuben, huh?
Yeah, JK knows how
Yesterday
to live, man.
he had prosciutto yesterday, and today he had a Reuben. I mean,
Yeah, JK's living good, man. He's living good. He mixes up his foods. He's got a lot of, he's got an interesting life. He's got the MGTOW lifestyle going.
yeah. I had a fried ham and cheese earlier, and I think that's kind of churning.
Yeah, you got well, this is a pasture. Try to get that whole milk cheese if you can. See, it's hard to find that raw milk cheese.
Yeah.
We had a store called Wegmans. It's probably the best store in the United States.
Yeah.
I'm not exaggerating. It's Wegmans in Rochester. Yeah, they're based out of Rochester, and they just have such a huge selection of stuff, and it's just so good. I mean, they got like fresh foods and
yeah. If you can afford the best, there's some really good stores out there. Heinen's is like that. They just got like better stuff. You can eat better if you know.
Yeah,
but I can't shop there.
They used to have this raw milk and raw milk cheese and Wegmans. Oh man, I wish I could I almost want to order it and have them ship me like 20 pounds or.
Oh yeah.
They probably could. I mean, they probably could. It would cost a shitload of money, but it wouldn't be worth it, right?
Yeah, you can order. I tried ordering cheese because we don't get nothing up here. We have one save.
Oh, okay.
And that's it. So sometimes I have to. I'll order my cheese from Amazon or try to order it from somewhere. Sometimes you can get it from Whole Foods now. They'll deliver a decent. When I was in Cleveland, they always had really a lot. There's a lot of variety there, but out here, we got one Save-A-Lot, and that's it. And they don't have much of a cheese selection. It's them packs of the $1.67. You can get two of them.
I think Utah's got a lot of stuff up. Like Utah's a pretty cool state. They got farms out there. I got to check it out.
Fuck.
I mean, I've been driving so much. I just don't feel like driving. Like, it's funny. You drive like 40, 50 hours and get done, and now I don't even want to drive an hour. Like after once.
Yeah, that gets old, huh?
Yeah, it gets old, and it's like, so I might stay out here a little longer and just kind of see what's going on.
Make your way back.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. I should be able to land something. I just have to change my attitude. My attitude. I don't think it's my attitude. I think I'm just sick and tired of these employers like just treating me like garbage. Like, it never ends. It's just constantly. It's never good enough, and they get those ideas from Christianity and from the slavery mentality that they have just because I'm paying you money, I can treat you like garbage, and it's not really what you're paying me to do a job, And
you're paying me to do the job, not being able to treat you. You should still have respect for your employers.
Right. And I'm a productive employee.
That's like when I go up to this store and I see the cash registers girl sitting behind they're not sitting, they're standing behind the cash register, and you can see them moving their feet around because their feet are sore. And I'm thinking, why can't you just put a fucking chair for there?
Yeah.
And I asked her once, why can't you put a chair there and just sit down for a little while you're doing this? Because there's it's this. You're doing that. He says the boss won't allow it. Well, that boss deserves to get his ass kicked if he doesn't allow that.
That's right. I used to work with a guy I used to work at a grocery store for 8 years when I was in high school and college, and so I know what it's like. I know how hard, like, you listen to the same music over and over again. Like, it's really, it can be like a little depressing at times, and But I had this manager. He was just
But that's the same thing.
He's a good guy. I liked him, but he'd be like, okay, I want you to do this, this, and this. So I'd be like, okay, I finished. I worked pretty fast. So like when I got to the third thing he wanted me to do, I'm like, oh, good, I can take a little 5 minute
Yeah.
breather, you know. Yeah, but no, sure enough, by the time I was just about when I was done with the third item he wanted me to do, he said, "Okay, great job. Now I want you to do this, this, and this." I'm like, he would do that all the time. So then it got to the point where I was like, "Well, screw this. I'm just gonna take it easy. I'm not gonna work that fast anymore."
Yeah. Don't work
And
that
that's how
fast
I can screw him
anymore.
back because he's not even giving me a little breather.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just
Yeah, you think how similar the attitudes are with the Christians. They like you're here, you're going to suffer. They're going to make you suffer, and it's
yeah,
like you don't have to suffer. You don't have to make your employees suffer. You can make it ergonomically correct so they
right,
don't get hurt. So they don't have to suffer. You know, you can put chairs and you can do things that make it easier for them. But no, these bosses are like, no, I need to see them suffering so I know they're earning their money.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's the same Christian attitude. That's where that developed from.
That's right. It's happens a lot. It happens a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah. Most jobs in this, as soon as they take on that authority figure, they assume that everybody else has got to suffer around them, and it's really it's just awful behavior. And
Yeah.
if we had strong unions and people willing to stand up for the workers, we
Hmm.
wouldn't have to deal with that. Yeah, but
Well, that's another. That brings me to the point. Like they try to demonize these unions and stuff, and you guys are communists, or you know.
yeah, yeah, that's just silly shit. Hey,
Right.
imagine if we didn't need to have unions. Imagine if these people acted like normal people and we didn't need unions. That's what I would like
Right.
to see.
Right. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Right. They're not happy making, all the millions of dollars they make. They got to make billions.
Yeah,
Like Bezos, you got a guy got killed right here in Vegas. He got or I should say Seattle. I'm in Seattle, but anyway, the story was out of Vegas. The guy like jumped to his death, and he was
yeah,
28 years old. He was a young guy, and I know he's going through some personal problems, but the fact that he did it at work, to me, says a lot about that job. It's like it
yeah.
wasn't,
Yeah,
you
well, you
know,
could have did it at home. He could have did it in a park. He could have did it anywhere, but he chose to do it at work. He wanted. Yeah, he's like he wanted for anybody that's concerned. I'm saying something, and people that goes right over people's heads.
right, right. And Bezos, meanwhile, he's one of the richest men in the world. It's like, dude, I don't even know if he issued a statement or anything. It's like, oh, we can't. I mean, I got to check it out if he issued a statement, but he should have issued a statement and condemned it and then say, hey, I'm gonna, what I'm saying, but oh, that might not look good for the investors. Ooh, that's what I tell you what. That's the reason why these corporations are so. What should I say? That's why they're so messed up. Is because with the stock market's really exploded the last, I'd say 20, 25 years.
Yeah, it's overinflated. Is
Because
what.
what it is, it's all about protecting the brands for investors,
Right.
right? And it's all about showing profitability and all this kind of stuff. So you're just it's all because whenever you like look up a company, right? And you look up like their mission statement, or you look up like you're researching a company, you might want to work for them. Like
Yeah.
what's the one of the first things you see? We're protecting shareholder value.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So now, like, yeah, so they could care less about you as an individual, as a worker. It's just all about shareholder value. It's all about making more money you know, through the stock market. So publicly traded companies that's really not where you want to be. Like you don't want to work for a publicly traded. Like I would not recommend it. I say privately held companies better. Anyway, but I would say those are better situations. Publicly trade or privately traded or private company, not traded at all. I think you're going to tend to have a better experience. You might not make as much money, but there's it depends on the situation. But But these publicly traded companies are garbage, absolute garbage. These Fortune 500s, Fortune 1000s, whatever.
Oh yeah,
They're
yeah.
just absolutely garbage because you're just a
Inflated value so that, and basically they're just trying to make dividends off of what the sales is, and
right,
but
right,
you know,
right. They're not. Yeah, they don't care about the points. They care about
yeah, they made all that by like stealing all the 40501ks from the working class too. You know, it's like
yeah, yeah. That's right.
built up the
That's
working
exactly right.
class back, and
Yes, Boston got there. Look at that, Joe. I had Boston. Hopefully they can hold on 7-3. Anyway, I'm just happy. I thought I graded that a loser, but it looks like it might come in. Boston Red Sox. Yeah, nice.
okay.
Anyway, yeah. So, but yeah, it's that Ren has a good thing he posts on Discord about this guy Joshua something. I forget his name, but he kind of built this whole channel just going after corporations. I know he's like a 30-year-old kid. He's a smart guy. He's got a girlfriend. He's like a simp, but he just built this whole channel like kind of just showing people how shitty their jobs are,
Yeah.
And so I know his con. He's sort of a con man in his own way.
Right. I just read a book about bullshit jobs. It's called. If you look it up, it's about all the bullshit jobs, and I believe in. There's a certain. I call them lighter than air jobs.
Yeah.
And they're just made up bullshit jobs that work off the labor of the working class.
Right.
And that's usually a bid spitting process, or
right.
They just add jobs onto the company and then keep the labor costs down so they can pay these people over here for doing lighter than air jobs.
Yeah. But
even with that, they don't want to be honest about what lighter than air jobs are. And most government jobs are just lighter than air. They're making up a imaginary problem, so they can solve it that wouldn't exist if they didn't exist.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, and that's the definition of racketeering. The problem which they say exists wouldn't exist if they didn't. And that's the same thing with the church. The problem that they say exists wouldn't exist if they didn't exist.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then, he was talking about this guy Josh, and I like this guy, but obviously I know he's half con man too himself because he's just building the channel on what's obvious, right? But he's still entertaining. Whatever. I was.
Yeah,
kind of depressing at the same time.
See the hypocrisy of these bullshit jobs and everything, and a lot of them are created for women that because the government steals all the money that was supposed to go to the females through our taxes, the male taxes, because we are altruistic. The altruism doesn't go straight to the poor; it goes through the government. So we create all the bullshit jobs to take the money, so it never trickles down to the poor.
Yeah. But this guy Josh was talking about how like you have these CEOs that like they don't like unpaid internships and
yeah,
it's like it's like you just like they want like free labor, like it's just so
that's the newest thing that's out there now.
Sure.
Or during the Trump atmosphere, everybody wanted to see what everybody wants free labor now.
It's crazy. Oh, you're getting valuable experience and
you know what that's called? That's called slavery. And if it's in that kind of situation, it's called indentured slavery. Yeah, there's laws against indentured slavery too. But
yep, I was listening to a podcast. The guy was talking about, I worked with Spike Lee when I graduated. This guy was a Harvard grad. Yeah. Smart. Whatever. Just because you go to Harvard doesn't mean you're smart. But yeah, this guy seemed pretty smart. I was listening to him, and because I got a job with Spike Lee, and it was an unpaid internship. I worked for a summer. He was like so proud of it, and I'm like, same as you went to Harvard. You're smart. You academically, but you're a fucking idiot. Like why would you take an unpaid internship because you get to work with Spike Lee? Like, and Spike Lee's like laughing his ass off, right?
Yeah,
like,
he's getting free labor, slavery, and Spike Lee is a proponent of slavery.
Right.
That's wow.
Yeah. This guy, and I'll tell you the guy's name. It was a Sopranos writer, and he was on Talking Sopranos podcast with Mike what's his name, Imperioli and Sharippa, They got an entertaining channel. They're kind of annoying, these two annoying Italian guys, but but they're okay. And he came on the show, and this guy was one of the writers on The Sopranos for the first 3 seasons, and he's talking about it. He goes, "Oh, I did an unpaid intern. I think it was like 3 to 6 months." And like, yeah, Spike Lee, right? Exactly. Here's a guy taking advantage of a Harvard graduate, and you went to Harvard, dude. It's like, can't you get a job making money? Like, why would you work for a guy for free? Like, defeats the whole purpose of going to Harvard. Why would you even,
Right. Yeah.
Oh, I get experience with Spike Lee. Ooh, big freaking
Well, you can
deal.
just make that up, Joey, too. Put that on your resume. You worked for Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
But, Matthew paid me because he respected me so much.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing. It's like he's just dropping a name. It's how to drop a name inside of a resume.
Yeah. I think everybody's stupid, these corporations.
You know
how many jobs I've quit? You know how many jobs I've quit? And I've thought about it, and people would think I'm crazy because I've quit like some pretty big name companies, big brands, and and pretty good money. And not because I was stupid. The more I thought about it, it's like I was in a position to quit those jobs, right? I had to make sure I had a little bit of money saved up, whatever. But they were screwing me on my bonus. They were like getting so much utility out of me, and they weren't keeping their end of the bargain. Yeah, and then on top of that, I'm being disrespected, and you know what? It's not like I flippantly quit. I think it through really well.
Yeah.
You probably should have something lined up before you quit. But as a MGTOW, I'm just taking care of myself, so it's only And I don't know. I mean, it's just I can see through their bullshit, Anyway, I probably need to do a better job of transitioning out of those things, But
yeah, that's what I was trying to tell you. You need to sort of embezzle your way out.
Right. I need to have a better exit plan, and
yeah, you need to get paid on the way out too, and make sure that's like putting the contracts in order. Where if you don't show up, they lose contracts.
Right. And I did that with one company. Like the customers kept calling me after I quit.
Yeah.
And in the past, I would have called them back and explained the transition, but this last time I didn't do it. Like I just let the company suffer, and they lost business for sure because I had a good relationship with the customer or whatever.
On the way out, I would have just called each one of the companies and told them, hey, I'm no longer.
Oh, you mean the customers? You mean call the customer?
Call the customers. I'm no longer coming around, so you should probably go somewhere else.
Yeah. That you know what? That's a good idea. If it happens again, right? Call them the time. Say this is the company. This is what they were doing to me.
Yeah, it's like
just want to let you know. Yeah, just want to let you know about it. Yeah, you probably should stop using.
Or basically, you should call 10 of them and then let the boss know what you did and say, I'm going to call the rest of them if I don't get a severance.
Right. Right. They're just these companies. They're out of hand. They're out of hand, but they rely on these younger college graduates, the guy that went to Harvard for Spike Lee for free, and they rely on a new what do you call it? A sucker's born every minute, and that's a true statement. That is a very true statement because that's what these companies rely on, and that's what these predatory people rely on. Is that new sucker that's born every minute? There's always going to be another sucker coming around.
Yeah, there's always another sucker, and they can treat them like shit. And authoritarian, it's that authoritarian, that predatory authoritarianism that they like, and they like treating people like that. Right. But you catch them in the back of an alley and punch their nose in, they'll be the first ones to cry for the police.
That's right. And that's why I think doing podcasts like this are important. Expose these guys like Andrew. Gives out bad information, and kind of ties into that, just understanding what your options are. And, a lot of the advice that I got growing up came from traditional conservative men that I was around, that, they had their wife and 3 kids and you got to work hard, and don't quit a job until you have another job. All this kind of, you pretty much, advocating me to take a bunch of shit from my employer.
Yeah. Yeah, that's if men can continue to do that, they take the shit, then it continues to happen. It's like Benjamin Franklin was said. He said, well, we're going to be soldiers now, so my sons can be salesmen, and their sons could be artists, and so we have to do it now. all we're doing is condemning our children and our future. We're condemning the future to having to deal with it.
Right, right. And the time to deal with it is now.
And the time to deal with it is right now, right?
I mean, my father, like he was a construction guy, and like he didn't speak good English, and like there would be times he'd be on a job site and somebody make fun of his Italian accent. He would fucking throw the shovel down.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, "Let's fucking go right here. Let's fucking go." He didn't give a shit. And like the foreman had to send him home like several times, like at least a few times a year. He would get sent home. And but you know what? I that story was great to me because it showed me that he wasn't going to take any shit from anybody.
No, he wasn't going to let anybody call him anything or racial.
No.
Nowadays, just making racial bias statements, and
that's right. That's right. And he told me, he goes, I've never seen him so proud of, like when I graduated university. He was I was a dean's list student, whatever, and I never seen him so happy. And then he goes, I don't want you to be like me. Like he kind of had that. He thought he was a jackass, but listen, he wasn't a jack. He did what he had to do, and he goes, I don't want you to be like me, like a jackass. That's what he used to say. And that was just like, I kind of took that to heart a little bit because like these people, you don't talk to me that way. Like I produce, my customers like me. I represent the company well. I make the company a lot of money. And if you want to sabotage that by being a bad manager, then you know what? Then we're gonna have a problem.
Yeah.
But I think what it is that, like you said, I got to have a better exit plan in terms of.
You got to have an exit strategy. As soon as you start getting into a job, you start forming your exit strategy.
Right. You form.
I had to learn that a few times myself. It's like before I need, I can't be treated like this. It's like, so I have to have an exit strategy.
Right. And I think one of the good ways to start with the exit strategy is just work less. You don't actually work more.
Right.
Like you don't give them what they want. They're saying if you're working your 40 hours a week and then they want 60 or whatever, like you actually should go down to 20, right? You actually work less. So automatically you win right off the bat. You're getting instant gratification because now you're really not working. In some ways, some people argue, well, you're sabotaging yourself.
No, they don't care. Why should you care?
So what it is you want to pretty much look busy, and then you want to, when the boss is not looking, you pretty much take it easy because you can't don't give them what they want because let's say you do the 60, right? You only get paid 40. But let's say you do the 60. Well, they're going to want 80. Then they're going to want 80.
Yeah.
And then they're going to say, "Why is your production down? Why is your production down?" Even when you're doing 60, why is your production down?
Why is your production? When they want as much as they can get.
Right. And it goes back to that Amazon story too. And that guy, he just had enough. He just couldn't deal with it.
Yeah. Okay. What is it? We're on an hour and 32. That's probably a good day for a Saturday, huh?
Yeah. That guy Andrew. He's just you got to be careful. I think I was just kind of doing a little monologue just on the authority figures. Like you really have to they deserve the most scrutiny above everyone else because they're the ones in the decision to really screw you over. So you got to really, be critical of what they're saying.
Right. Yeah. Everybody go over to that guy's channel and get him away from MGTOW. He needs to know that he just needs to get away from MGTOW, or else, well, there'll be like they say, there'll be consequences.
He's a toolbox.
Yeah.
You need the Cubs to score a run, man. It's 4-3.
Okay. Yeah, with that, I think I'm going to close it up. I got to get on the garage.
I need the Cubs, Joe. They got first and second, one out.
Yeah, I finished the other bike up today. I'm gonna give that bike to my son.
Oh, nice.
And my youngest son. I think he deserves it, and he's a good kid, and he deserves a really nice. He deserves something nice, and so I'm gonna give that bike to him, and he'll have a nice bike, and it'll take him for years.
Yeah, that's good. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I put that motor in there, and that thing flies. Did
you get Claire's approval?
Yeah, I got Claire's approval to go over 35 in the streets, and
it goes 35 miles an hour, really?
Yeah, it absolutely flies. It's
wow.
It's just a
Wow.
little motor too. It was hard to believe when I found it. It was a 6 pound, 500 watt geared motor that just absolutely goes.
No, it's good, man. You just get out there now and enjoy it. Enjoy the.
Yeah, yeah. I don't really care. The bikes, to me, it was more about building it and doing it. I'll get you a picture up here so you can. I'll send you a picture. So it's a really nice looking bike. After I got done, it was a bike that someone had tacoed the tires and snapped off the derailleur and left it for dead.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
was like, "Oh, poor little bike. You look, I could fix you up," and I did.
yeah, yeah. No, that's good, man. You got a good hobby, and that's what men need to do is find
Yeah,
hobbies. And, like my sim friend, I told that story last week. Like, I'm like, what are your hobbies? And because I have no hobbies. He's like 60. He's in his mid
6 years old. He
60s.
has
You have no hobbies. Your hobby is chasing split V that punches you.
yeah, that's
That's
his
your
hobby.
hobby.
Yeah,
That's his
this getting
hobby.
beat up
Hobby.
by
Yeah.
the split fee
I
because
mean, it's like, yeah. And I was supposed to stay with this guy, and I was like, forget. I'm done. You know what? I'm done. I'm not staying with him because I'm not gonna. It would cost me more money. I'll just stay in the hotel. I don't like your. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, what were you saying about the split V? Yeah, that's his hobby.
yeah, that's his hobby. His hobby is the split fee. It's like that's a pathetic hobby.
It's so warm.
Yeah, it made you into a split fee. In other words, a puss.
It's the warmth of the split V. It's just the
Yeah,
cuddling. What did you say? Tocin, right? Really?
yeah. You know what they say? You are what you eat, and he puts it. He probably puts it in his mouth, and he turned into a big pussy.
Wow. Wow, that's disgusting, isn't it? Jeez.
Can you imagine?
I can't imagine, you know, yeah, it's pretty gross.
Yeah,
That is as gross as it gets,
that's the grossest thing in the world.
and
You
then
know,
you wonder why you have like you was talking about like one of your old podcasts about the sudden personality changes. That's
yeah,
what it comes from is all those chemicals that are going
all
in your
those
mind.
chemicals and all that estrogen gets in them, and then man, you should always watch out. And the point of that was watch out for your friends, and men have to take care of other men, and because no one else cares about us. And if you see your friend having a sudden personality change, you say something. You need to go to a doctor, or man, do you have a bacteria? Do you have an infection on your body? Let's check over everything and see if you got any infections, or are you hurting anywhere? Because them things, a sudden personality change is a is a cue to something else is wrong.
Hmm.
And that could be with him or emotional change or too much estrogen or you know it could be a lot of things. He needs to go see a doctor.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but he needs a hobby to start with. And
Right, you need a hobby to start with, like you're doing with the bikes. I mean,
yeah, yeah, it's fun. I enjoy doing it. I think I build something beautiful after I'm done. And I
yeah,
usually give it away. I'll give it to my son this time and then start a new one.
yeah. Like even these podcasts, that's kind of a hobby. Like I think it's a good hobby. Like,
Right. You can do podcasting. You can talk about what you believe in, and you're not allowed to say what you as long as it matches like Claire's opinion.
yeah, you have to have Claire sign off on everything.
Yeah, you have to have Claire sign off. She's like, no, I don't want to hear none of those degrading words, Joseph.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
as for the truth, you're not allowed to tell the truth, Joe.
Sister Claire. Yeah.
Yeah, cooking's still on things. Cooking could be a hobby if you don't know how to cook.
Sure,
Learning how
sure,
to cook enhances your life. I mean,
sure.
yeah, yeah.
Cooking is a lot of things. Walking, just going for a walk in your.
Walking, yeah. I just go for a walk in the park. I do
Yeah,
things when I'm in the
right.
park. I just can't go for a walk in the park anymore. I go down, find some rocks.
Yeah.
I try to identify fauna, and I'm always searching for something. It is not bad. I used to do this thing when we were kids, and we used to go down to places where there was nobody. We assumed nobody ever lived there or anything, and there's just woods and everything. And then we'd look for rock piles, which indicate where a chimney used to be. After the house is degraded, and then that's where a settler used to live. So we used to go look for these things, and we found some pretty interesting stuff. First time I ever experienced corruption in my life was we had found a rock pile, and we were like, "Oh, this is an old chimney from the 1700s or something," and it was an old chimney. But we started taking the rocks apart, and we found a bunch of Civil War uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
And we put them in our backpack, and they had the buttons on them, the Civil War buttons, which are worth a lot of money nowadays. And we were going out of the park, and the park ranger, he is like, okay. And he caught us under a bridge, and he had his gun, and he's like, empty your bags. And then he took credit for finding that stuff.
Wow.
And only about a quarter or not even a tenth of them ended up in the museum, and he kept like 90% of those, and he probably sold them because those buttons are worth a lot. They're the brass buttons from the Civil War uniforms, and we knew what we had. But it took us months to find it.
Amazing.
Yeah, and that was my first encounter with governmental corruption, and that was in Bedford, Ohio. That was the park ranger in Bedford, Ohio, that did that to us back in 1972, I think it was 72 or 73. Yeah,
that's an incredible story, and it shows again the corruption of these authorities.
The authoritarian figures.
Right.
It's like, no, we found these things. We worked hard, and we had a skill. We knew what we were looking for. We read a book on how to do this. Somebody published a book on how to do it, so we started doing it. And I still do that today when I go places. There was an area down on the other side of the next river over on that side. It's just an area, and you go through there, and you have to really train your eyes to see what used to be there. And usually the trees will tell you. If a tree is not really, you can look at the trees that have fallen too, plus the age of the trees that are there, and then add up which time limit it goes back to. Then you start looking.
Uh-huh.
And then usually you'll find something, some indication of some historical indication of what used to be there, whether Indians or settlers. And you can go back that far pretty easy. So that's a skill I have, and I like to do. But that corruption, how corrupt these people were, and how they just took from us. And we were kids. We were like 12 years old at that time. We were just kids, and we had worked really hard for something. We got it taken from us by a park ranger with a gun, at gunpoint.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, and he wasn't even in the park. It wasn't even in the park. It was like on the other side. The park's on one side of the river. We were on the other side, where it was just city land, old and vacant, trees. It was just forestry. It wasn't a park area. We had checked the park area to make sure we weren't in a park area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it goes to show, again, the authority figures.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mess around with police or anything like that, because they're carrying guns and they're not this smart.
Even the police do that. If they know you have a large amount of money in your car, you never tell the police that you have a large amount of money, because they'll just take it and make something up.
Right.
They're that corrupt.
And they'll justify it in their head. Oh, yeah, right. We had a lot of issues in upstate New York in Schenectady.
Yeah. There's seizures. They just do seizures.
They were literally dealing drugs. They were robbing drug dealers and dealing drugs.
Yeah, cops always have drugs on them. Yeah, cops always carry prop drugs on them, so they can throw it down and take your money, and say if you have over $2,000-$3,000 on you, and if they pull you over, if a cop ever asks you if you got any money, you say no, I'm broke.
Yeah. And they'll justify it in their head too.
They'll justify it in their head. And
of course.
If you argue, they'll escalate.
That's why
No,
In a lot of ways, you almost have to just don't interact with authority figures. You really don't even
don't interact with them. Try to keep away. Do the MGTOW thing. The same thing you do with MGTOW, you do with authority figures, and
right.
until you can take them down, and until men start being men again.
Yeah. I think that's a smart strategy. Is to avoid, right? Almost like authority figures, right? Treat them like women, like, and try to avoid
like women. Yeah,
like when the cops pull me over, I'm like super respectful because I know they're so stupid they're liable to shoot you. I mean,
yeah,
like if you show any type of aggression, they're gonna
right. Yeah, they're
looking for a reason.
Consider them as cunning and crafty, and just be as bland as possible and show no emotion.
Gray man, and like RP says, don't peacock, and then like my uncle, no exposure. You don't flash yourself. You don't brag about things, and because people take that, they get jealous. I mean, shit. Even with MGTOW, it's like I have to be careful because sometimes I brag about MGTOW, and I could tell like people have that look on their eye, or look on their face, and like they're jealous, because they know that we're kicking ass in life, and we have stress and all this kind of stuff, and they get jealous, and so I'm very careful about what I say, and
right, yeah, they want to put whatever you're doing because if they know you're doing okay, it's like that IRS agent that came to the house. She just wanted to make sure I wasn't doing good.
Yeah, we want to make sure you're not living well.
yeah, that's what she said. I want to make sure you're not living well.
Yeah, and yeah,
I almost went to jail that day because I was going to put a bullet in her. And if I had that on tape, I was going to put a bullet in her, but I didn't have it on tape. Because if everybody would have heard that or seen that, they'd have said, no, you have a right to shoot her.
That's a crazy thing, man. It's like, I know people don't understand. Like, we're nice guys and everything. Believe me, I'm the guy that's opening doors for old ladies. I'm helping the homeless guy, giving him $20. You know what I mean? I'm like looking for people to help.
Yeah, I always do that.
But boy, I tell you, and no one's really been stupid enough to really pull shit on me because I'm a big guy. But now I'm getting a little older. I'm not as quick as I used to be, whatever. But I'm still the last guy you really kind of want to go at and do something really like get super aggressive with, because there's going to be a serious problem. Like, I'm not afraid to go there if we have to go there, and I think that's it's good to have that in your repertoire in terms of your own confidence. Okay, now you don't want to use that if you don't have to, but if there's times something might come up where you might have to, and keep that strength, but just be very careful with it, as well, so, but no, you bring up some really good points there. You're right with authority figures, you have to.
Oh yeah, authority figures are the worst.
Like women. That's a good point. I think it's the first time I've heard you say that. But you're right. You got to treat them like almost like women because they're cunning.
Right, they're cunning and crafty.
Yeah, and yeah, and then So and then just be careful what you say around like around, especially coworkers that are just jealous. They're just so jealous. It's like,
right. Yeah. God, never tell a coworker what your plans are.
No. Jeff and I talk about that a lot. You never tell anyone what your plans are. Like, you just
because they'll steal your ideas and
they'll steal your ideas, and then they get into jealousy, and they'll look to try to. I don't know. It's like these guys I used to play poker with a lot. Like, they used to always kind of act like they were like the guys that acted like they were broke and everything. They're the ones that they're living in nice houses and all this kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were the ones that were doing better. Like the one.
Yeah. What was that?
But I don't even go to those places anymore, Joe. I don't. It's been probably almost 15, 20 years, because when I was younger, I was naive. I didn't understand these things, but when you get older, you don't want to be around that type of crowd. Like, you say one thing that they can jump on you, and then now you got a problem, and then whatever. Yeah,
remember the story of the McMaster car guy that he had the warehouse, and everybody thought he wasn't doing. Every time a raise would come up, he said, "No, we're not doing good." And then after his death, his family went to his office, which was just a regular like warehouse thing, which racks of boxes and stuff on it, but they started opening up the boxes, and the boxes were full of money.
Yeah. Rip just gave you a donation. That's really nice.
Yeah, I see that. Rip's a nice guy. Thanks.
No, I feel obligated. We have to talk longer now, but that's okay. That's up to you. I'm not doing it.
I was just having some gas issues before.
Yeah, no,
That's
yeah. Well, yeah, I got time. I'm just chilling out. I'm in this
yeah.
nice
I was having
apartment.
some old man issues.
Yeah. Well, when you got to examine. Well, one of the things I do when I have that is examine what kind of foods and drinks I'm eating.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I pulled some of
Examine
that
that.
lunch meat out earlier, and I was like, I hope this is still good.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
wasn't.
yeah. Because this diet I've been on in terms. Well, let's just say diet, but like just when I get into the raw food type stuff and the raw cheeses and like I feel great, man. I don't have to.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't have any gas. I feel good. But now I start eating a little yogurt with a little sugar. It's got too little sugar in there, and then now I had some like bread, more breaded. I've been staying away from that stuff. But now I mix it in a little bit, and then I notice I don't feel as good, and it's almost like okay, well now I got to learn the lesson again. Stick with what's working, and I feel better eating the raw foods. And
yeah. That
um,
before I was in really good shape a few weeks ago, and then I stopped. I was taking the activated carbon, and man, I couldn't believe how much better I felt after I took the activated carbon. And then I just for some reason it just what didn't attach to the part of my routine.
yeah, yeah.
And then the gas came back. I was like, oh, I got to start doing it again.
Yeah, that's the worst. Is when, well, for me, I tell you what, for me, with the reason why I'm off the sugar and the carbs and the bread is because I used to, when I was on that stuff and eating a lot of those types of foods, I had to use the restroom. I had to urinate all the time in the middle of the night. Now I don't even have to. I can sleep right through the night.
Yeah,
So,
I've been
so
drinking
I have,
water like crazy too.
yeah,
It's like just water flakes. The guy that came over before when I jumped up and went out there, he's like, here, have a beer, and I was like, no, no, no.
yeah, yeah. So to me, it's like the value of not having to get up and use the restroom in the middle of the night, like getting that's worth more to me than eating that.
Yeah, yeah, sleeping
And
through a whole night, and
yeah,
I was
yeah,
sleeping through whole nights for like 2 weeks, and it was just great.
yeah, yeah. So that goes back to I think the introspection in terms of everything we do. Like
Yeah,
we're trying to figure out
yeah.
the
When
best
you do
quality
your
of life.
introspection, it's about your moral character and everything, but it's also about taking a deep look. It's body, heart, and soul. It's about looking at your moral character is important, and then looking about at how you perceive people and how you treat people, which is hard, and then you look down into your body and see how you feel because men don't do that. They don't. Oh, I have a pain here. What's that about? Uh, you know, and then like I always say, take a magnesium bath and then see if things clear up. If things clear up, it's probably just you know just fatigue. But if things don't clear up, then okay, I know something's wrong. I have to go see a doctor about that and consider yourself as somebody worthy of that, of feeling good.
Yeah. No, for sure, for sure. Mind, body, soul. Yeah,
Mind, body, soul. Yeah. Think about how the biggest thing most people don't is think, are you thinking right? Can you do a mental exercise in your head? Uh, can you spot rhetorics or are you just listening to everything you hear on Fox News? Are you one of those people? Uh, hey, it's like, yeah, can you decipher rhetorical fallacies and stuff like that and keep yourself sharp? That's why I do these
CNBC.
things a lot. I talk about rhetorical fallacies and that a lot because them are mental exercises that men should be doing this to make sure their health is okay.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, I tell you, I think if you're not a MGTOW, I think you're way behind. Like in terms of like the stuff that you just said,
Yeah,
you're way behind because you're so busy taking care of your wife and your kids and your grandkids. You know what I mean? Like you don't have time to
right. To think about
do those
yourself,
things.
and that's the
Right.
part of MGTOW that you should be doing. Everything should be about you now. You don't think about how the girls are in need or my government needs me to give more or my church needs me. No, you think about what you need first. And
Right.
there's a
That's
lot
right.
to that program. There's, it's mental, it's physical, it's spirit. There's a spiritual sense to MGTOW too. It replaces all them garbage religions, and it gives you in metaphysics. It'll give you your how your ethics are, how you treat people, how you. I think it's a lot better than religion. I think we act better. I can't remember the last time I consider I even sinned. You know,
Sin?
as far
Sin?
as they would consider a sin. I can't remember the
Oh, I
last
know.
time
I know.
I
I
did
know.
anything wrong.
Yeah.
I always respect people. I never steal. I always
Right.
do the right
Right.
thing. I always try to do the right thing. Sometimes you can't always do the right thing, or
Yeah.
the perception is wrong or something like that. But no, I can't remember ever not trying to help, not trying to be a
Yeah.
better person.
Yeah.
And that's all MGTOW. It's like before because I was a prick.
Yeah, because you're yeah, I don't know what your situation is, but for most men it's like, it's for my family.
Yeah, I had to work hard. I had to make sure my family was eating. Them things sometimes. You
Mhm.
know, I had to do things that were anti-moral and not ethical. And I understand them things now that I was part of that same corruption. So that's how I can identify that corruption exists because I used to be part of that corruption.
That's right, and that's how they justify their crime or sins, crimes, whatever. Is
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
You
doing it for my family.
think
I'm doing it for my family.
my
But,
family. I just I'll do
mhm.
anything for them.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Yeah,
What's
exactly. I mean, that's
that
a
South
really
Park
sick
episode
way to. Yeah.
with what was the two ticks and living on the head? Kelly, I'd do anything for Kelly.
No, I didn't see that
Anyway,
episode. What was it about? I don't think.
one of the guys caught lice, and then they zoomed in on the lice, and the lice had a farm in there, and they're farming, and they're doing all those things. And then there's one guy, I can't remember his name, and he was like, and then the wash came, and then he was like, I gotta save my Kelly.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then he made his way to Angela Jolie.
Absolutely. Isn't she wonderful?
Yeah, because well, she has. They were like, she will never be found here, and then they zoomed out the Angela Jolie.
Yeah, yeah. I remember they had Paris Hilton on there before.
Yeah, Paris Hilton's hole
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
cave.
She had like,
Yeah, it was Paris Hilton's cave.
oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And Mister Sledge crawled up. That's
They're pretty good. South Park's pretty good.
South Park's pretty good. I haven't caught up on the last. That'll be one of my last things I'm going to binge on is South Park, and because I haven't caught up on me, I haven't watched in probably 7 seasons, so I got 7 seasons to binge.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's good. There you go. Yeah.
But okay, for what 10 years here, I cut all TV off. I didn't watch. Except John, me and John, once in a while we watched the space pirate stuff because I really like the space by Firefly and Serenity and stuff like that. But short of that, I didn't watch anything. And then I realized this year during the Corona thing that there's thousands of shows that I've never seen.
Yeah, yeah. I know, me too. I haven't watched a lot of TV. Yeah.
I mean, I'm a more hands-on person. I like to be out in my garage more, and if I have something to do out there, my ray gun is just laying there. I just haven't worked on the ray gun because that's what it's going to put MGTOW in charge.
Yeah.
So but the ray guns are expensive to build, so it's a really expensive project, and I haven't worked on it. My hydrogen generator. Well, they do have a new. They came out with a new superconductor material, and I was wondering if I can get some, and but I just probably couldn't afford it.
Uh-huh.
because that was supposed to be the problem with cold fusion was the superconductor material. And now that you have you can take what do they call it? You can take a centrifugal force of a wheel, and if you had a superconductor, you can make it into more energy. Sort of. So,
Yeah,
or
that's definitely overpriced, right? Energy in general. Like, isn't there a
yeah,
way that you're talking about the water currents? You can use water to get energy.
yeah. We look at yeah. We have a lot of rivers here. And I was thinking, you don't have to have these super hydraulic generators. What you really need is you can take a stream off of the river and just kind of build it in, and then put a small generator there. And guess what? You get to do all down the river every 30 or 40 yards. You can put one of those in. You don't have to have a super generator. You can have a lot of little ones that add up to the same amount, and it's much cheaper. People it would create jobs. It would create industry, and it would create free electric too. And I mean, when you look around here, we have what, 1, 2, 3, 7 rivers. I mean, they got one big river in New York, and they do a super generator there, but you don't really need to do that. Even sewage, when you think about how much sewage is flowing towards the sewage plant, you can put generators in there and make money from sewage, or make electricity from sewage. Or at least cut the costs of the pumps and the stuff that are needed, and send that jet electric back to the filtration plants, and cut the cost of filtration. But nobody wants to do that. It's like there's a big Republican push for they want to use oil, and that's it, and everything else doesn't work. It's like, it's like, and then people are just ignorant, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, every house can have a 1,400-watt turbine on it.
I know. They don't want it to be efficient, though. They don't want to save people money. They want people to suffer. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, they want people to this system works for them. They
right. It works for them. It allows them to maintain their power, and then not only that,
they maintain their power and authority through money and debt.
Right. Exactly.
People have free power, and we all took care of each other, and we distributed the food evenly, and all the houses were free. There would be no need for society or government.
Right. They get you on the.
But they would call that communism. No, that's not communism. That's something totally different than communism. That's just being human.
Right, you got to pay to live.
Yeah, you have to pay. Yeah, you have to pay the capitalist to live. That's a better system.
Right. That's paying to live.
And pay the government people to do non-existent jobs, lighter than air jobs that they make up so they can, you know, so there are problems. You know, that's what Health and Human Services is. In 1974, poverty went under this rate, so they had to raise poverty. What did they do? Otherwise, they'd all get laid off. So they made no-fault divorce, and they got rid of the Edmunds Act. So polygamy and no-fault divorce led to poverty in the Black community, which led to them having their jobs.
Yeah.
And now we got. I was looking at the percentage of baby mamas in all the communities, and it's like 40% in America almost. Baby mamas, and well, that's how they built poverty. Now they have a reason to work. Well, if you get rid of, in my plan, you get rid of that poverty by not letting them steal the money and going straight over to the needy, the children, and the mamas and the kids, and you take care of them, and then all of a sudden you don't need a government. You're just altruistic, and the men already do that. It's no sweat off our back to do that.
Yeah.
But they like the system, the capitalist system, because they get their cut, like the mafia.
Exactly.
Yeah, they got to get their cut on that. You can't do anything altruistic without the government taking their cut.
Right, middleman. Gotta have
Yeah, the
middleman.
middleman. They're playing the middleman, and yeah, that system's got to die. And it's not really capitalism. What we see is not really capitalism. It's
No.
some kind of hybrid mafia universe with
Yeah.
racketeering as keep everybody in fear, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so,
the cops.
so you create a mythical dragon, and then the same as the mafia did. If you don't pay this, then somebody's going to come and rob you. Well, the same people were going to rob you. That's what the government is. The same people that are telling you are the people that are going to rob you. They're saying is like, we won't come and rob you if you pay your taxes, which is robbing you. It's so silly. I mean, Camus was right. His world is absurd, and it must have drove him nuts when he thought about this stuff. Never read Camus unless you want to. It's just wake up to this like absurd world that we live in.
Yeah. Yeah. Bait and switches are everywhere.
Yeah. There's people tell you like the guy we look. He's selling Jesus tablets and natural. It's like while coming down on MGTOW for no reason at all, just because we make sense.
Yeah.
So can't have these guys making sense all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's really sick. How about that? Then your favorite was that Dr. Grande. I remember.
Oh God, yeah. I still can't understand what he was saying, what he was trying to say. I got the book and I read the book on harm reduction. It was the course book, and then so I took the course book, and then I did another course in great courses, and I still don't know what he was trying to say. It's like so bizarre. But he had this idea that MGTOW should just go back to the farm, so that's okay.
The thing about that Grande guy too is like you could like you look at him and you watch him, listen to him talk. He has like no joy. Like you could tell there's no joy. Like
he was a joyless person.
Yeah, nothing there in his countenance at all.
I was just reading something about that, about people like joyless people. It was some philosophy book that I was reading this morning or something. It had to do with something that we were talking about, and I was just reading this morning, and I re-dig that up. I'll have to go through my Google history and see what I was reading. And usually I like to keep those things, but I didn't know it was going to come up in a topic. Joyless people. There's a philosophy behind that, and
yeah. They're just. I don't know. They're not the kind of people I surround myself with.
No, I don't surround my people with those kind of people.
No, not even close. No, forget it.
It's like I don't want to catch that disease where I'm happy and I don't find humor in things, and I can't laugh at myself when I make a mistake, or it's just no. I don't want to be that person. It's like.
Yeah, they have nothing. They have nothing going on. They have nothing to offer. Like they don't have any kind words. They're always trying to get you to second get like, are you losing your hair, or whatever. They just say stupid shit. Like, you put on a few pounds. Yeah, you put on a few pounds, didn't you? Or whatever.
Oh,
they just say this. Yeah, they just say the stupidest thing at the worst time.
Yeah. And it's just casually cruel little bits of it's just casually cruel little microaggressions that they do. And they'll be the first person to say, "Oh, you people are being microaggressive towards me." It's like, yeah, good of you to spot that in yourself.
Yeah, that's one thing I've done in my life. I really don't give second chances. Like, if you've shown me that you're an idiot, well, I mean, sometimes I'll do. It just depends. But like, if you show me that you're casually cool and you don't apologize, or you don't show any type of like respectful way about you, then forget it. I just
that's my law number one in Joe's book is you can't be casually cruel to your friends and people around you, and because that just shows that what kind of person you are.
Yeah, there's something going on there.
You shouldn't be an authority figure. That's what that's saying. You should not be an authority figure.
Yeah. That's true. It's Well,
But
I did your thing the other day at the grocery store because a lady there,
yeah,
she was, at the Albertsons. I said, I said, you do a really good job. I said, I really appreciate how nice you are to everybody and me. I said, and her eyes like lit up, It's like,
yeah,
but it
yeah,
was
you
true
got it.
though. I was just telling the truth, Like I really did appreciate her because I see how she interacts with the customers. Like she's so helpful and you know what I mean. So I let her know about it, and I could tell. She goes, oh, she was like really thankful. Just probably, I don't know. The lady's probably like in her 50s, whatever.
That's how she made her day, and she's, everybody
Yeah,
deserves to feel they're appreciated, and
yeah, yeah,
but it's more for you when you, like I say, it's something that we do for ourselves, is just be nice people in those situations and compliment everybody because that comes back on you. If you're the
yeah.
biggest dick in the neighborhood, you don't have no future.
I remember a Camus interview. Like, there's an interview on YouTube. He's like talking about he's watching a soccer match with this
Yeah.
reporter, and the reporter was saying something about the players. Like, what do you think? Like, he was like being real critical of the players.
Hmm.
And Camus was talking. He goes, well, because he played, I guess, soccer in college or something.
Yeah.
He goes, well, he goes, well, well, you don't really know what it's like, why don't you get in between the sticks and see what it's like? Like, you know what I mean? He was
Yeah.
like, he said that to the reporter. I thought it was a really cool interview. Like he was just reminding the guy like how hard those players are playing and
Right. That they're the skill. You're enjoying their
yeah,
skill.
yeah. Why don't you get behind the
Yeah,
sticks
why
or he
don't
said
you go
something like
do
that.
that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. These reporters who most of them never even played a sport, and they're just critical of the athletes out there that are giving a show pretty much, right? I mean, it's a game. You know what I mean? It's just a game, right?
Yeah, it's just a game, but there's a display of skill and something these people put a lot of work into, and
Yeah, yeah.
it's like
And
musicians too. You
yeah,
don't pay a musician for a concert ticket for the songs or the music. You pay a musician because he spent 4 hours a day for the last 10 years working on it.
yeah, yeah. It's just that appreciation yeah, yeah, the effort.
Yeah, you
You know what I
appreciate
mean?
what he the what he went through to develop that skills. Now some of it's natural skill. There are people that are talented, but he had to do some work to get there.
Yeah, yeah. But it definitely makes a difference. But I said something to somebody today about that too. Like, thanks for being here. It's true, because it's
Yeah,
true.
I do it
Like,
everywhere. I do it at the gas station, the dollar store now, except for the girl that
yeah.
yelled at me the one time. Even she's nice to me now. The girl that yelled at me for parking my bike,
Oh, really?
and
Yeah.
then like yeah, I just ignored her, and I went, and then she went and got the other employees to try to talk to me about parking my bike there, and then I just ignored them, and then I went to the counter, paid for it, and walked out. And I said, "There's no need for this kind of." And then after that, they're just really nice to me.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
just
No, yeah.
I just
Great.
totally nonverbal, and I didn't look at them, and I just knew what I wanted. I went there, got what I wanted, and then I just every time they tried to approach me, I was just like, and then I'd walk away.
Yeah, yeah,
Just give them the look.
yeah, yeah. It's
And
yeah,
that just avoid confrontation when those things happen, and even those things will be appreciated because they'll see how stupid they are. There's nothing that makes somebody feel like more like aware of their bad behaviors than when somebody doesn't react to it.
boy, that's a good point. It's yeah. I wish I had this conversation with you last year before I quit my last job. So
Yeah,
I kind of took it a little. I took their absurdity too seriously. That's really what I did. That was a mistake I
yeah,
made. Sabotage myself in the process. But
yeah. You'll find something again, and
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I will.
there's always the next thing, and I don't know what the next thing in your life is. That's
Yeah,
up
I'm
to
sure you
fate
will.
or karma
Yeah,
or whatever you want to call it. I don't believe in karma, but fate, and it's
yeah,
just it'll come. And sometimes you get into that flow. You're going to know when it happens. You're going to feel it. You're going to be in a good flow, and things are going to be going good. And then
yeah,
before you know it, you're going to get offers, and then usually offers come in packs.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they always, for me, they always came in packs. I would be like unemployed for like 3 months, and then just like and then all of a sudden I got like my choice between 4 jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, do your research too on the jobs. That's what
Yeah.
a couple of my jobs. I one paid more, but the other one would be less stress and a more advancement. And I was like, okay, in a year I can advance past where I would have been here.
Yeah, I think that's probably a better move.
Yeah. And even if you have to, make a little less at first, sometimes, that works out. It worked out for me in my last job. Is like it just before you know it, they were just raising me up. It's like, okay, he's a good employee. He shows up every day at time. He's a little bit of a dick, but
Yeah.
but they appreciate that too. I mean, sometimes you just got to put people in their place. And
Oh, I know. I know they're crazy. They're just this. It's
yeah, and I think that my boss rather appreciated me. One day he was being bitchy or something. I turned around and said, "Who the fuck do you think you're talking to?" And then after that, he never did it again. And he kind of respected me.
Well, like, you learn a lesson that way. You learn he learned a lesson that day. Like you probably.
Yeah.
My friend and I used to always have that saying, like why certain men act like little bitches sometimes, and we had a theory that they never got punched in the face.
Yeah.
Like if you've been punched in the face, you're not going to act that way as much. Like
at that time too, I was still working for contractors through that, and I think I had to have the talk to him. I says, you know what I do when I leave here for those weeks? You know what I go do? It's like, who the fuck you think? People usually call me Sergeant Joseph Burns, Sergeant Joe, and we go kill people. And then you think you could talk to me like that? What the fuck's wrong with you? I said to him.
Yeah, sure.
I come back here and I pretend nothing fucking happened.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause I grew up in like a working class, town, and you learn right away, like you better be respectful. You get your ass beat. Like it's just the way it was. We didn't grow up in these like plush, like upper class, cities and their areas, and men are just really, really effeminate and soft, and I wasn't, we grew up, white, our blue collar, like whatever, right, and then you could just tell, like, and and most of the people I went to like high school with, and like they all did pretty well for themselves.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah, I have a couple of real successful friends. I don't know how they did it. They were the biggest guys, they're the smartest guys. One was the most talented guy in what he did. Two of them were the most talented. One wrote a couple of books on poetry and stuff like that and became very famous. And one he did a cartoon which just ballooned. And
yeah,
I was like, wow, it's just luck. I guess it's just luck and having the insight to have a skill and cultivate it. And
yeah.
they did.
I think it was a Schopenhauer quote. He said, like, he said a person with talent can like strike the bullseye. He said, but a genius can he can strike like a target where no one can see. Like nobody can see the target. Like he can hit a bullseye where no one can see it, right? Like it's like it doesn't exist. In his imagination, he can exist. So that's a genius.
Yeah.
The difference between genius and a talented person. Or yeah, I think that's how he said it. There's a quote. I think it was Camus or Schopenhauer. I think it was Schopenhauer said it.
Yeah, I'm not
Something
sure.
about. Yeah, I almost want to look up that quote now, but yeah, sometimes you got to get lucky for sure, but
yeah, sometimes it's just 100% pure luck.
Yeah, you get into the right situation.
That's not pure luck. That somebody had some kind of talent that led to that. There was a skill, an inborn talent that was just that person had, and it was interesting, and people liked it. It's music. You can get that with music or art. His thing was drawing and art and cartooning and stuff like that. And he did rather well. Lives in Seattle now. Never talks to me. Never calls me. He's a billionaire.
Oh, really? You
Yeah.
never you were friends with him in school, or
We're high school buddies.
he's too good for you?
Yeah,
What's his deal?
good for me. I don't think he ever thinks about me. And one of the characters in his cartoon was me too.
Really? No
Yeah.
shit. Wow.
Yeah, he used to. Yeah, that's what he told me. One of this guy's you, Joe. It's like I just sorry. He felt really bad when he called me over his house. So I drove over there and he says, I'm sorry. And I said, what? And he says, I was using you. And I said, what? He says, this cartoon here, this guy right here, this is you. And I said, that's okay. It's nothing to apologize. Then we went and got a few beers.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he felt bad about that. That was really weird. He was like, I shouldn't do that. That was weird. Life's weird.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You figure everything out and then you die.
Yeah, you figure everything out, then you die.
Well, here's a Schopenhauer quote.
I wish it was like that too, because if you like, I could spend another lifetime after this trying to figure everything out. There's that much information, and like if that was the criteria of how long you lived, I would just keep studying. Now that would be a more honest life. If there was this God, he would say that would be the honest life. When you get to the end and you know everything, then you could die.
Yeah. Yeah. Was that you? What's your?
Yeah, they're going to pick up a dead person.
Claire's just passed away.
Yeah, Claire was down the street. She was stabbing people, so the ambulance.
I found a Schopenhauer quote. So it says, "Talent hits a target no one else can hit.
Mm-hmm.
Genius hits a target no one else can see."
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Genius hits a target no one else can see.
Yeah, most time geniuses, they see things other people don't see, and then people don't believe them.
Yeah.
Like, this is the right way to do that, and they'll go, no, we'll do it like we always did it.
Right. That's how Tom Golisano became a multi-billionaire. He worked for this payroll company in like Rochester, New York. And the guy that started Paychex, and then so he worked for this big payroll company out of college, and he went to his boss. Says, 98. He goes, most of these businesses are small businesses. He says, why don't we go after that? Do business with the smaller businesses. And then his boss goes, no, this is how we're doing. We're going after the big businesses.
Yeah.
And so Golisano he started his own payroll company focused on, because he figured 98% of businesses are small. It was like over high 90% of businesses are small businesses. Like if you
right, yeah, I've seen that with
Mobile.
There was Mobile they were selling skids of oil, and skids they would only sell skids, and they'd only sell they would never break it down or sell one case. And then a guy came in and he says, let me take over and start selling the small amounts. And then they soon realized that this guy was just stacking all those small amounts and shipping those skids out, and he was making a ton of money. They're like, damn.
Yeah. And Golisano became a multi-billionaire.
He's breaking things down into smaller units, and you can buy 6, or you can buy 12, or you can buy whatever you want to buy. You don't have to buy a whole skid of this stuff.
Yeah.
There was another person that did that too. I can't remember his name. It was just he had a linguistics idea, like how to the linguistics idea of how to make a store happen, and he sold it.
Yeah, there's opportunity everywhere. It's definitely there. You just got to find it. If you want to do that, if that's what you want to pursue.
Yeah, if that's what you're interested in, you have a skill for spotting things like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Trust your instincts. But for me, I'm at the point in my life I just want to take it easy.
Yeah, you see guys like Marx, Bernie Showmans, and stuff like that. They made a living on going to pick up things that people were going to throw away, and selling them in the stores. Harry
Yeah.
Rock, the scrapper guy.
Yeah, you were telling me about him. Yeah.
Yeah, he during the war he was just a young black man, and he went around picking up cans, and he bought himself a bicycle, and then he was picking up cans and bottles and steel and everything, and then he figured out the companies had all this steel, and he went and he bought himself a truck, and then bought himself 2 trucks, and then 10 trucks, and then 20 trucks, and then 100 trucks, and then before you know it, he had 1,000 trucks running scrap from steel yards.
Sure. A lot of money in junk.
Yeah.
Ton of money in junk. It was out of
American success story. Just started out walking around, just picking up cans.
Yeah.
But he showed an initiative to want to do work,
Right. And those are, if you're a hard worker, that's really probably the direction you want to go, starting your own business, because
that should be available to you in the United States too. The equipment, I'm sure his first truck, he was like, they like, oh, we're not going to give a loan to this young black man, and but he made it happen, and
right.
Get collateral, and then you bought 2 trucks, and but that should be an opportunity to Americans to extend or at least have the equipment available to do that. But in America, that's half the problem. The banks own the equipment. They'll decide who gets rich and who doesn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You ever wonder how these independent owners get those big presses or get those big that equipment they need to do asphalting, stuff like that? Well, you have to go through a bank and an equipment company, and they'll decide your fate. And that's some of the biggest racketeering in America is, when people get denied, there's barriers for certain people.
Yeah.
And that's what, that's what I always thought racism was. There was barriers for people like you and me, the Irish guys, the Italian guys. We didn't have opportunity when, the same opportunity as the better people. And
yeah, that's right. I mean, the middleman. Bank is just the middleman too. That's the thing.
They're just the middleman making. They're not supposed to be the authority of that stuff. That equipment was supposed to be the delegated from the government. They just made themselves the middleman in the middle of that. And no, that equipment should still be making it. People, you ever wonder how people get those big trucks? How they, you see a construction company and go, how did he get that backhoe? How did they get that big thing? I wonder about things like that.
Yeah, I know, because if you put all your effort working for somebody else or a company, like, you forget it. You're wasting. I mean, you kind of, you don't want to kill yourself. I mean, I have nothing against like that work if you're making some money, but you don't put your heart and soul into it. I really wouldn't advise that. Just look like you're busy and do a good job. I'm not saying don't do a good job, but just don't put your, all your eggs in one basket in terms of your heart and soul or whatever into it.
I wanted to start the coffee shop a couple of years ago, and we talked about it, and I applied for the loan, and it was just under the amount that I needed to actually do it. And then all of a sudden, another coffee shop opened up.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, what happened there exactly?
What's that?
What happened there exactly?
Yeah, they just picked somebody else.
Oh, they picked somebody else. Okay.
They picked somebody else, and the amount they were offering me was like high interest and just under what I wanted, that I would have been able to do it with. So I would, even if I would have did it, I would have lost by a small margin. And I'm used to them business deals where I lose by a small margin.
How's that doing, that coffee shop? Any good?
I don't know. I never go to there. I just pisses me off when I look at it. And I thought my idea was better. At least better for the people of my neighbor, closer to the neighborhood, closer to the.
I know you don't see these banks owned by like Italians or Irish people, or like,
No.
It's all these They, I mean, look who runs the banks.
Yeah,
It's the Wasps. It's the
yeah.
Wasps that run the banks.
I know who. Yeah, I know who the Illuminati is.
Right, we know who they are. It's like they're right in front of our face, and
Yeah,
they
but we
blame it on they blame it on these and all these other guy other group that's like it's but they're
yeah,
the ones that own the
everybody
banks.
else
Like
like
yeah, it's so obvious who owns the banks, right? J.P. Morgan. I mean, where's that name come from? Come
yeah.
that right? Or who's the other one? Yeah, like all these bankers. Like whatever. Yeah, yeah. They're not going to give loan. Yeah, it's not. You don't see like a what do you call it? Oh, Flannery's Bank, or
Yeah. Yeah. The big difference between them is they said, we're no longer going to work for God. God's going to work for us.
yeah, yeah. You don't see like what do you call it? Russo's Bank of Trust, or
Yeah. They would just accuse them of something from a stereotype.
yeah, yeah.
Well, they do that. They stereotype Irish and
Sure,
Italian people. And
sure they do. Sure
it's
they do.
like, yeah, it's like, we can't trust you because, Joe, you'd just be a drunk.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm sure they do that. They look at the name and they go, oh, this is an Irish guy, and I'm not on the registry.
yeah, yeah. Oh, it's crazy, man. It's like
Yeah.
fuck it.
Amory Cleveland taught us about the registry. Okay, now it's a
Yeah,
real. Now we know it's a real thing because Amory Cleveland wouldn't lie to you.
yeah. So I have that book, and Who
Oh,
Killed Society or whatever.
who slayed the or who killed the I can't remember how he put it,
Yeah,
but that was not about the rich and it was about the interdynamics between the nouveau riche, what they called the nouveau riche, and the old money. And there was a registry, and his family was on the registry, but when he got taken off the registry, and then so he says, okay, well, I'll just tell on the registry.
wow, he got taken off of the thing.
Yeah, he was born rather well off, but through business, the through the business, his family had taken a dive, and then he got taken off the registry because he was just a son, or he was no longer a part of the old money.
Yeah,
They considered him a part of the new money, and it was like the nouveau riche, what they called the nouveau riche at that point. I don't know if you're old enough to have that was quite a that was quite a word back in the day. It's like the old
yeah.
money hated the nouveau riche, the new rich.
Killed Society. Yeah, that's what it's called.
Yeah, who killed society? Yeah,
That's what that's what I like about
that's
Las
a great.
Vegas. Yeah, yeah,
It's a well written book too. You can read that book and understand it, and you can get the
yeah,
subtle nuances of what he's saying.
yeah, yeah. That's what's good about Vegas. It's like it's not really a waspy city. I
Yeah,
mean, it's more Mormons here. There's a lot of Italians, a lot of Irish, a lot of Mexicans, a lot of Asians. It's like a good mix.
yeah, it's a good mix, and
Yeah, it's a good mix, and so
doing
nobody.
their part and trying to be honest about. Well, I don't know about
But
honesty.
The East Coast cities like Boston, New York, Philly, like those are waspy, like strong. Like I know there's a lot of Italians in Irish in the East Coast, but
Yeah,
the establishment they've been there a long time,
establish
man.
the what? Yeah,
All that whole eastern, the whole East Coast, seaboard or whatever you want to call it, like they just,
yeah, yeah.
they're the ones that control. Like they have a good grasp of that whole area. Like
I almost moved up there the cup. Well, before I moved here, I was going to sell this, and there was a little burnt out a restaurant had caught fire on the shoreline of the intake, the end. What I can't remember what that is, right in Providence, and I almost bought a restaurant up there, and that was going to be the coffee shop, and
oh, okay, yeah,
I
yeah,
never did it. I just stayed here, and I never sold this house, and it should have been something I just should have followed through on. It's like another regret in my life. They wanted 100 and what was it, 121,000 or something for the property at the time, and all they would have to do is live there and fix it up, and then it would have been worth 500,000.
Mhm.
Where the location, it was a great location too. It was like there was boats and right there was the city of Providence. It was like I would probably been doing really good right now. Well, I can't look into the future. I say I had a plan then, at least.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I don't know if I'm ever going to run into that kind of money again. Fuck.
Yeah.
I need a come up. Hey, God, if you're there, I need a come up. If I get that come up, I'll believe. I swear to God.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all they have to do is give me that come up, let me be a part of their society, and and then I'll believe what they wanted me to believe. But as long as I'm a second class citizen, no.
I know it's crazy with how they
Yeah,
definitely stereotype. They definitely do that.
yeah, they do. Yeah, America's a funny place. People outside America, they have no clue what we're talking about.
No, I know they don't.
Because they
They
can't
don't.
imagine what it's like in America. Like everything costs. Everything has a cost to it. Everything's so capitalistic that it's almost irritating. And it's like, man,
Mhm. Yeah, it's true. Oh, Seattle 5-1. Holy shit! Scored 5 runs.
5 runs, did they? Cool.
That's Seattle. Yeah, baseball is weird. You see 0-0-0-0-0. All of a sudden
Oh
7
yeah,
nothing. Like in the
yeah.
one inning, they get a
One
big.
inning, they bust out. And it's
Well,
like,
that's a big sucker play in baseball is if you so most games teams will score more runs in one inning than the other team will score in 9 innings.
yeah,
Have you
yeah.
ever noticed that?
Well, that's a
Yeah,
good manager. He's like he's just watching what the pitcher's doing, and he's telling his guys, watch what he's doing. Try, just these first few bats, just get in tune and let him think he's doing great, and then one inning
yeah,
they'll just jump on him and just.
right,
That's a sign of a really good manager. That it's one strategy. There's probably a lot of strategies.
right, right.
Can we jump on him right away? Do you guys know what he throws? Are you familiar with him? If you're not, then we're gonna have to play it. We're gonna have to play him and just let him go to 6 and then jump on him in the 6th inning. That's man. Baseball's great because there's all those micro strategies that are going on.
Yeah, it's a game of adjustments.
It's a game of adjustments and
Yeah,
moving your players
absolutely.
around and
And
moving the right people in and being in touch with, can this guy hit this guy? Is this lefty? Does he hit better against this lefty or this righty? And then there's a whole game within a game. Who
oh,
used
for
to be
sure.
McNamara? Jimmy McNamara used to be really great at that, didn't he?
For Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, Jimmy McNamara. He was in Cleveland. He was in Detroit. He was in,
Too? You're talking about manager, right?
yeah, the manager, Jimmy McNamara.
I just remember him in Boston. I didn't know he managed the other teams.
Yeah,
Sparky Anderson was another guy.
yeah, Sparky M he was a good micromanager, and he would just wait,
Yeah.
but he was really good at that. He would be
Captain Hook. He used to call him Captain Hook
yeah
because he liked to go to the bullpen. Like he used to
right.
get.
He would go to the bullpen earlier. He played what would they call that back then? Um, I can't remember what they called that. What his game was. There's a name to it. But yeah, he just played that game. I think Jimmy McNamara did too, a lot like Sparky Anderson. He played that type of game, but that's the thing of the past. Francona kind of does it too.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's interesting. Sports. It's
Yeah, he'd move everybody around in the lineup, and it's just
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think baseball's just.
Oh yeah, I've always loved baseball. It was like it
Me
was
too.
honest, it was the honesty of the sport and the integrity of it, and there was always something a little better about it.
It's not as dangerous as the other sports either because
No, no, you're not
well,
going to get unless you get hit
nah,
by a
if
hundred
you hit by
mile.
the ball. There've been situations, guys get hit with a line
Yeah,
drive or whatever, but it's really hard to get. It's actually one of the safest sports because your body's not you're not overexerting yourself with the heart rate going
yeah,
too high, and then also now the most dangerous position is probably gonna be catcher or pitcher because pitcher your arm that movement on your arm.
yeah.
But
You got to.
but the other seven guys in the field, like you're not really exerting a lot of energy. Like you're standing there a lot of times, and then outfield you might have to run for a ball every now and then, whatever. But
Yeah,
infield, exerting, like your heart rate's kind of steady, and you're not.
right. And there's a skill.
Yeah,
You can get the break on the ball and everything. You see that with a lot of
yeah,
shortstops and second basemen. They'll get a good break on the ball. Their
yeah,
range, how
yeah,
they range, and
yeah. But you get
pretty much.
used to it though. You get used
Yeah,
to it, right?
like they
Well,
know this guy hits here, so they'll play closer to that. But you know,
yeah, and then when you're swinging the bat, it's not like when you're young and you swing the bat a lot, it's natural kind of thing. It's not. So your rotator, I guess I don't know. What can you really screw? Like you don't see a lot. Like like a lot of baseball players when they get older, they're in pretty good shape actually. Like they're
yeah,
not really like hobbling like these football players
yeah,
hobbling
especially
around and
football
you
player.
know
Well, that used to be what was that? That Pittsburgh Steeler football player was like working
Mike
at a car
Webster.
wash and just hobbling around.
Mike Webster.
I'm not sure what his name was. It was like no, that he should have been taken care of.
Yeah, Mike Webster probably. I don't know if he had a problem. Yeah, he died young. He was a Hall of Fame center
Yeah,
for the Steelers. Well, that CTE is definitely real. I don't think that about it. Like
yeah, yeah.
Junior Seau shot himself.
Yeah, I just bought a book on that sports injuries and the cognitive impact of a lot of these football players that go through and everything. And it's like I haven't
Yeah.
got a chance to read it through yet.
Well, it's interesting because you don't see the rich, super rich people. Their children are not playing these sports. They're not
No,
playing football.
no, they like lacrosse and rowing.
Right. Not even lacrosse. They're doing rowing and
Yeah, yeah, not
golf,
even lacrosse.
maybe.
Jim Brown played lacrosse.
Yeah, they're doing these. They're not exerting like I don't know, maybe not row. They're not. I don't think they're doing. They're doing like chess. That's what they're doing.
Yeah,
They're doing chess and they're doing just relaxing and then what I mean, letting us work.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's the goal. Do as little work as possible. Let the poor people ruin their bodies. And then,
Right, right. I think that's part of their strategy is to get
yeah,
people involved in the sport. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to get too conspiratorial here,
I
but
don't
that's
think
just
it's conspiratorial. It's just
yeah.
noticing
I
what
think
we
it's
live in. You know.
right, and it's for like football is a bar. I mean, I'm sorry, I loved football when I was a kid. I was like crazy, and
Mhm.
you know what? That's a barbaric sport. I'm
It's a
sorry.
barbaric sport.
Not
Yeah,
a good
that's why
sport. I'm sorry, it's not a good sport. It's not. I don't like it. I don't
other
think it's
countries
good.
go. They wear helmets and shoulder pads. Yeah, we wear helmets and shoulder pads because you're running at a guy, full speed and then spearing into him.
Right. I mean, I've had concussions. I've played through concussions.
Yeah.
And saw stars. I got
Oh
blindsided
yeah.
a couple times.
Yeah.
I saw stars.
I was a linebacker, but there's nothing greater than the feeling of when you get in the flow.
Yeah,
You're lowering your head, your body's moving forward, you're picking up speed. You got the angle on the guy, and you're just about to smash him.
oh yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah,
It's fun, but at the same time, it's like I don't think I would have played. Knowing what I know now, I wouldn't have
yeah,
played.
yeah,
I mean, I played like 5 sports in high school, and I was good in tennis. I was good in basketball, baseball, football.
yeah. I was
Golf, I
really good
wasn't
at
that good.
tennis too. Me and my brother loved tennis. We'd go sneak
Yeah,
into tennis courts, and we one day we were we booked the court, and we got there, and the court manager said, "Oh, you're just kids, and you got to have your father with you and everything." And then he said, "Okay, I'll let you play." And then we started hitting the ball at each other, and we played really viciously. It was like hit the ball as hard as you can,
yeah,
and that was our game. and then they kicked us off the court because we were too aggressive.
Yeah.
I was like, this is how you're supposed to play. This is how people become, famous at, they hit the ball as hard as they can.
Yeah, and they put spin on it. I used to do a lot of spin on my
Oh,
ball.
yeah, yeah. He was giving
Slice
some
it.
lessons,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and he was trying to, okay, you got to be finesse with it and just finesse. And me and my brother were just like, bam.
Yeah. I couldn't. I learned how to control my forehand better. I just kind of spin.
Yeah.
I
Oh, you
learned to
can spin
spin.
and drop
Yeah,
it
because I try
in.
to do the top spin. Everyone's trying to do the top spin forehand or top spin even backhand, which I can do those, but not that effectively. I can't control the ball as much when I try to top spin all the time. Because
Yeah.
people think, oh, top spin, oh, you do top spin, oh, but really, in a lot of ways, if you can do like so like spin it a little bit, like slice
If
and
you slice
spin,
it, yeah.
it screws up the timing for the
Right.
other
Yeah. If you get him moving
opponent.
this way and then it spins on the other's backside of him, there's no way he can hit it.
Right.
There's no way to get around that.
You got to mix up your play. You got to
Yeah.
mix. That's what these great tennis players do. They mix up
Right.
their
Makes up their
shots.
play very well. Yeah.
And then it's angles. A lot of it's angles too.
Angles. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot
And
to it.
right,
There's a lot.
moving to the right spot because
Yeah.
you hit the ball this way, he's got to hit it back this way. So you move to the right spot. That was hard to start learning that. That was, I was just starting to learn that stuff, like how to move to the right spot, how to angle it, and then like we gave up on tennis. The infinite jest. We gave up on the infinite jest.
Yeah, David Foster Wallace.
Yeah, that's what that book was about, tennis.
Oh yeah, he was a good tennis player too.
He was a good tennis player, but he liked to smoke a little bit of hooch once in a while. And
yeah, he I don't know what his deal was, and I think that's a guy that would have been a MGTOW. Like he could have probably
if he would have committed suicide, he had some deep thoughts about the way life was. And I read like 500 pages of the Infinite Jest, and then it was just like, I don't know if I could do the rest.
Yeah. He was he was young when he killed himself. I forget. I don't know how old he was.
Yeah. I never understood why he did it, or it was one of those weird things. I think he was just like I don't know. He's just one of those people that was naturally depressive, and he about the life he was seeing. He was brilliant, but so often, like Winninger and so often they kill themselves.
Oh, Winninger killed? I didn't know he killed himself.
Yeah, yeah. He killed himself on the bed that Beethoven died on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he rented that room and went there, and
he was 46. David Foster Wallace.
Yeah. I think a lot of it was getting older too. He had an aversion to getting like older because most of his stuff was about there was a little bit of that boomer hate and or that or that hate of the elderly, and he's seen himself getting to that point too, and couldn't deal with that. Yeah, it made what he thought a hypocrisy because everybody gets old, and like I say, disability will visit you sooner or later with age, and you will be that disabled person. I mean, you can complain about disabled people all you want, but sooner or later you're going to be that disabled person. It's guaranteed.
Yeah. That's why MGTOW is so great too. It's self-preservation, and quality of life, and then
understanding things like that is important in life, and
yeah, for sure, because you're right, they're not gonna, the society doesn't, they discard you. You're discarded.
You become a disposable male, but understanding that sooner or later you will be a disposable male. You should probably try to think about that and how to play the system, and keep a little bit of your health into old age. I was thinking about a guy that the first time I seen this in life, most of the older men were skinny and frail and lost most of their muscle, but there was this one old guy that used to come at the car wash when I was a kid, and I was really receptive to learning back then. and I was just standing next to him in a bus stop, and I noticed this guy's huge, and he's got a lot of muscle, and he's at least 74 years old. And I said, you're a really good-looking old person. And he said, thanks. And he says, you know what? He says, never lose your muscle.
Oh, okay. That's what he said.
He says, always try to keep it. He says, don't believe what people say about, he said, don't believe what people say about you. You have to go on this diet and become the skinniest thing. And he says, the most important thing is never try to keep muscle or retain the muscle till you get older, and then you'll have it.
Yeah. I got to revisit that because I haven't been working out.
Yeah, and that's muscle.
I don't want to put the strain on my body. I don't like the inflammation.
Yeah, it's like muscle memory. I always try to keep that muscle, remembering what it's like to, I still at my age, I think I look pretty good. I have some muscle memory left, even at 60.
Yeah, I do too. I think push-ups are better though than lifting weight. I think too much inflammation, too much stress on your.
Yeah, and I think he said eat fish. And we do that. At that time there was the greatest little things. Most of the people don't know about them because they're too young. There were the little stands, and they had the what's that little fish? The breaded little fish.
Breaded little fish. Oh, like pelts, you mean?
Yeah, schmelts. They had schmelt stands everywhere, and you could anywhere there was a bus route, there was always a smelt stand, so you can get some fries and some smelts, and then they put it in the bottom of a paper bag, and then the oil would come off into the to kind of fold it. You folded it down, and you just sit there and eat the smelt while you're riding the bus. And so I'd eat a lot of smelt, and and it was cheap too. It was like, I think at that time you could get a bag of smelt with some fries in there for $1.25 or something.
Yeah.
But then they made them all illegal. It's like nobody sells smelt anymore. I hate that idea.
Yeah. Oh, you there?
Yeah.
I thought I lost you. You're gonna laugh. This is like real time, so I just gotta. You can hear me? Okay.
Can you hear? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's real time. I just got a message from He doesn't listen to this podcast thing. It doesn't matter. He doesn't even know about it. But he sent me a message. Hey, let me know tomorrow if you want to, to stay at his place. I already made plans till the end of September. I'm like staying at another place. It's like no, you blew it, dude. You blew it. I got here first week in May, and
yeah, what was I supposed to do? Sleep in my car until you decided to do this?
Right. What am I supposed to do? I book ahead of time to save money. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like if he had given me better information, I would have saved, like I told you, like almost $5,000. It's like he cost me all that money. Like now he has the ball. Like I know he's just trying to recoup. It's like it's over. That ship's already it's done. I'm not staying at your place, and I'm not going to be this guy that's going to be walking on eggshells because of your bitch. I'm not doing it. Like, no, I made other plans. I made other plans because we could. No, it's just real time. He just sent me a message, and my immediate reaction was to respond to him, but I'm not responding.
Yeah, just ignore it. And
just ignore it, and if he calls me, I'll call him tomorrow. When
force him to get it, what he had done, because you can't explain it to him. You have to force him to get it, and you have to let it be his idea. That's the only way you get a simp to realize what they did, because otherwise any idea you have will be rejected, and you can't argue your way into that or out of that. You can't use logic on them. I mean, no. The only thing you do is ignore them, and then it'll force a introspection.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
It's just funny how he just texted me.
Your friendship, it will force an introspection.
Yeah, it's like, forget it. It's like, you cost me all this like money. I hate throwing money away. I work hard. I hate throwing money away, and it's like,
I'm kind of mad. I'm kind of insulted as you never asked to come stay with me. I got rooms.
Oh, yeah. No, I drove through. I was actually on the 90. It was like 2 or 3 in the morning. I was like,
I
I
know
can't.
you're thinking, I get in Joe's house, it's going to smell like open ass and beer cans.
I saw the sign. I saw the sign. I was gonna say maybe I'll stay in Cleveland for a night. I'll call you tomorrow. But I don't know. Sorry about that. Yeah, I just kind of, I was on a mission. I get on a mission to.
It's going to smell like old man ass and beer cans. I can't handle
Yeah. No, it's just like incredible. This guy. It's like, I just booked all my stuff. I just saved. So I did the math. So I'm down to $27 a night in these Airbnbs until the end of September. You know.
that. That's not bad. You got
No, it's not bad. I
there.
saved a ton of money with him, with utilities and everything. He's got,
Yeah, that includes utilities, water. You don't have to.
yeah, that includes everything. Now the difference is I got a room. With him
You're gonna pay. Yeah, you're gonna pay more in a week in utilities at a regular apartment than a
yeah,
week in an Airbnb. It's like
right, right.
pretty
I
good
want,
deal.
but I wanted to. I was telling him, listen, I'd rather give you my money than somebody else. But he was just too like
Right.
much
I'd
of a
rather,
simp.
no.
Right, too much of a
But
simp, and then I don't want to deal with his drama. I really don't want to
that's
deal
what
with
we
it.
were kind of going at with that guy earlier. They don't understand the inner dynamics of friendship. Uh, they don't
Yeah,
understand that if you move in with a buddy, you split the bills, and that works out the same way as being married.
yeah, and yeah.
And it's like they reject that idea, like somehow getting married is much better because, and then she's going to stop paying bills, and then she's going to get pregnant. So actually, the bachelor lifestyle leads to more wealth, and if you have a buddy to split the bills with, that's like twice as good as being married, and you just do what you want. He does what his wants, and it's. But they'll often throw that like, oh, that's homosexual living with another guy. It's like, no, it's not. It's only sexual if you're sleeping with another guy.
Right.
But they can't live without. They can't live in the same house. If they were living in the same house as another guy, they would want to sleep with them.
Right, which is
That's what they're
totally
saying.
disgusting. Yeah, I mean, whatever. I let people do what they want in their personal time. I don't really care. But
Yeah, that's the hypocrisy of Christianity when
it's so weird. I think it's so weird. I don't know that whole.
yeah, they're giving away their thoughts, and their thoughts are immoral.
It's so stupid. It really is. You're right. The default position is asexuality. There's no
Yeah,
question.
yeah, you
That's
should
the
be
superior myth.
like just be regular fucking people without thinking about it.
Right.
Can't you just be regular fucking people without thinking about that?
I, yeah. I mean, like back in my simp days, like you'd be pounding a chick, and it's like I used to like. This is not that big a deal. This is not even. I'm not even having that much fun.
No,
It's like
it
it was
shouldn't
fun.
be all
Maybe.
encompassing in your life.
Yeah, it was like when I was like 18 and whatever in college and first doing that thing, and it was kind of fun. It was real exciting, right? The
Yeah,
first
of course it
year
is.
or whatever, and then I hooked up with a lot of broads in college, and it was like the early '90s, and
Yeah.
but then after that, it's like who freaking cares? It's like I don't even care, and it's like it's such a stupid it's like
Yeah,
such
there's
a
other lifestyles that are more appealing.
yeah
Bachelor
yeah. It's
lifestyle
like
is definitely more appealing.
it's just so overvalued, and then you just learn more about the world you live in, and then you don't see these animals in nature like humping all the time.
Yeah,
It's like
imagine if it was socially okay to have 4 bachelors living in this house here, and what we could accomplish.
right, and then you see
If you
guys
had
that are
4 MGTOWs thinking business wise, 4 men can defeat the world.
yeah. Then you see these guys that are PUAing into their 40s, and it's like you guys are pathetic, even into your 30s.
Yeah,
If
but you
you're
can't even have one guy that's thinking that way in a household because they screw up everything. It's like
yeah, yeah. Well, and that's why I think that again, that's what we talked about yesterday. Like, I think that's why they push the pornography so much because they're
yeah,
just trying to look how great this is. Oh my God, look at this. Look at this. Look how great sex is. It's like so, and
yeah,
it's
it's
like you get
always
older
gonna
and
be
it's like,
the movies, and then he's
like
like,
I've been there, done that. Who cares? Like, I don't even care. It was fun for like the first year and then who cares? I don't even care anymore.
yeah, it's like, yeah, I've been through that. Like we were out, like I live with 3 or 4 guys, and we're like, okay, we're working on this machine. We're gonna get this machine running tonight and put it in the garage, and we'll have that for the whatever process we were working on. And then the one guy's like, no, I've got to go see my girlfriend. It's like,
Yeah.
no, we're doing this tonight. It's like, get back in the game here. We got a plan. And then one guy will start screwing up, and then he'll start bringing his girl over, and then all of a sudden the other guys are drinking beer with him and his girl. It's like, we're not getting shit done now.
Yeah, it's like life is right. You're supposed to like just try to set some goals for what you want, and one of the things I want to do with my house is I look at this apartment I'm in now, and it's like, wow, they did a great job with this apartment, like the way she has it set up, and it's like, okay, maybe I want to do some upgrades when I move back into my house. I'm gonna maybe do some upgrades, and we'll see. Like try to design it a little bit. We'll see. We'll see how the.
I like that basin. I was thinking I need a new basin in my bathroom, and
oh yeah, that basin. Oh yeah, it's so cool. It's just a cool little thing. It's like a little piece. It probably doesn't cost a lot, probably, but it's just nice little fixtures like that, or like it just makes the experience really. Yeah, it makes the experience really nice. And I didn't do anything with my house in Austin, Texas, and because I can't dox myself. But I because of the value of the house went down so much after I bought it. I'm like, oh, this sucks, man. Yeah. But now as I get older, it's like I like having a certain rug in a certain spot, or having a certain basin in the bathroom, or whatever, right? But so those are things now, as I get more pleasure in that than just trying to figure out what I want, having a certain lamp in a certain spot.
Right, it's like this room. I have this room exactly. You think I'd have this room with a green screen and microphones and computers all over the place? If I ever showed you this, you would be like, "Oh, that's a dude room."
Yeah.
It's like, no, that would never have that. It would be something stupid in here.
Yeah, you're not thinking about like pounding this chick, and that's what who cares? Like I don't even care. The older I get, the more I see the kind of almost foolishness of it. That whole act is like kind of it's almost barbaric in a lot of ways.
Your life, it shouldn't encompass like 24 hours of the day.
Yeah, it's so overvalued, and it's the women that like to overvalue it, and because they don't have anything else to offer, but they don't even have anything to offer there either.
Oh, yeah, it's all that like after you cuddling and we're going to talk for an hour, and it's like, what are we going to talk about?
Oh, Dr. James Denton is in the chat. The legend. He's a legend.
Oh, Doctor, yeah, he came up with the MML.
What's that? I don't know what that is.
Mucus lined meat, or MLM.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, that's MLM. That's all it is MLM. It's not that great.
Mucus matters.
What's that? Mucus lined meat.
Mucus lives matter.
Yeah, no, it's mucus.
Yeah, no, but it's funny how as you get older, you kind of see through the bullshit of
mucus lubricated meat hole.
Yeah,
that's all it is. It's like it's not that great.
No, it's not that great, and it's like it's just so stupid.
It's kind of disgusting when you put it the way like stoicism, like Marcus Aurelius would say. No, all it is a mucus-lined meat hole.
Oh, okay, that's what you're talking about. Yeah, exactly, pie hole. But they love, it's just the whole thing.
It's not this big, glorious, thing.
It's just bad that we live in such a the urbanization of our society, and you got all these accessible like Playboy magazines and porno movies and all this kind of
it puts
it really gets it. It's not healthy. It's not healthy.
Well, it puts the idea. It's like I say, the guys get this fantasy fiction idea of the perfect woman in their head, and no other women in the whole world line up to that. Or the breast. Who said that with the breast? I think it might have been Winninger. He said men get the perfect idea of the perfect breast in their head, and then when they see a real one, it never, through the fantasy fiction world, it never sizes up, or it's never as good as that thing in their head.
Yeah, and you know what? That's when it kind of, the fantasy fiction kind of started for me, when I looking at these magazines. I remember when I was like 14, I think, I was at my friend's 14, house. I was like appalled by the, because you want to see some magazine. Like I was just 14. We were trading baseball cards. The next thing he shows me this stupid like porn magazine. I'm like, what the hell is this fucking shit? You know, it was like almost a, it's like this, like my first instinct, which was the correct instinct, was this is freaking garbage. This is like really silly.
Yeah, that's really silly. My first,
Yeah.
if you start touching yourself, I'm going to punch you.
Right. I didn't know. I was like the most naive kid, like going through school. I was just playing football, and then I got to college, and then all these broads started coming at me, and you know, and it was fun. Yeah, the first couple of times it was fun, and but even then, I look back and it's like I wish I never even got involved in any of that. Now, like hardly any of it. You know, more money I would have saved, and more time and energy.
There was some kind of, there was something afterwards that happened that just eliminated all the fun. It was like something
right. Right. Now I don't even get I'm just done because I know how women are now. Now we combine the MGTOW information. Oh, forget it. Now it's like I don't even want to get close to them. Like I don't, because I know how dangerous they are. Right.
Yeah. Even afterwards, it's like she's gonna look at you in that stupid, retarded way and go, "Hi."
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah. There's no value. You know, it comes down to there's no value in it, and then you're putting yourself at risk, and it's not even fun. It's not even fun anymore. I don't even have fun with it. It's like not fun. Just not fun. It's not an enjoyable experience.
Yeah.
And then, but it's hard because we're in a world of all these simps, and it's kind of hard to find friends that think the way we do. You know, like,
right? Yeah. Most of them think like the simps, where they overvalue that, and it potentially eats most of their time up during the day, which
right.
And how are you supposed to do man stuff, think man way,
right.
about business and
you know what it is too? They're living in, not to interrupt you, but I want to make this point before I forget it, is they're still living in the fantasy fiction world where we're not.
Yeah, they're still living in that world. We see the world as it is. It's a, it's a somewhat disturbing and absurd place where dark psychology rules.
Right. And then you got guys that are Christians selling Jesus dick pills, saying, "Hey, you need to still get your dick hard. You still need to fuck your wife." You know, sorry, I'm gonna say swear, but you still need to be getting it on because you're getting into your 40s and 50s now. You need the Cialis and Viagra and all this stuff. You got to get it hard. You got to go. Yeah. It's like, grow the freak up, man.
Yeah, that was a Chris Cantu enthusiastic salesman way. It's like, no, that's you got to put what we have to tell them is quit acting like a freaking child.
Right. And quite honestly, I think I'm pretty correct in saying this. And some people I think sex is very childish.
Yeah, it's very childish at a certain
point. Childish endeavor. It's very childish.
Things away.
Right. I mean, right. It's a very
childish. Their Jesus term, but no, we put childish things away. We stop drinking milk.
Right. We don't go to strip clubs anymore. We don't. You know, I mean, I went when I was in my early 20s and teens, and every now and then, like maybe once or twice, I got dragged into it in my 30s and 40s, and I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be. Now I don't remember last time. It was 15 years last time I went to one, but it's like I don't want to put myself in those positions. But yeah, I think the whole thing is very childish, and the whole activity is childish, and it doesn't bring any value. It's not enjoyable.
Right,
and it's definitely not enjoyable as a MGTOW. We know the predatory nature of women.
Right,
they're liable to be like
situation.
Yeah, they're liable to be like Claire, and they're going to have a knife and stab you literally in the back. Like literally, I'm talking about. I'm not talking.
She's going to stab you.
Right, literally going to stab you. I mean, I've heard stories. I listened to a rap song with Gangstar. There's a band, and he was talking about how he was doing this song in memory of this person, and the guy got he got killed. They got killed in bed by some hooker or something. Who the fuck knows? It's something stupid. It's like these are the kind of things that happen in real life. So why would you put yourself in that position ever?
Would you even do that? Yeah, that's crazy. Putting yourself in risky positions is just, it's called risk aversion. We're supposed to do risk aversion. We're supposed to know that when we leave school.
Right.
There's even with mountain biking, there's a risk aversion that I have to do sometimes. Like I look at a hill and I go, I want to do it. And I know it'd be fun as stuff, but if I fall,
yeah.
So I don't. And it's like,
It's that fantasy fiction world, though, like you said. I don't know. I don't know if you came up with that on your own, that whole idea, but it's very true because
Yeah,
that's what's going to get you into lure you in is if your mind drifts into
well,
that
you notice
fantasy fiction.
there was a commonality in most of the sophists, most of the philosophers, that they all say beat around the bush. And Adler went right to it. He says, "No, there's a fantasy fiction world that a lot of people live in." And
Right.
he called it finalized fiction, where they finalize a fiction in their head. And it should be called finalized fiction because these guys get these finalized fiction ideas and then they're working towards those in life, but those aren't real. There's no way to get to them.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get to a metaphysical place that doesn't exist.
See, now we have to learn how to interact. See, since the urbanization and everything, that's why there is a lot to be said for if you have the resources to live in that cabin. There's a lot to be said for that, and you can do your own hunting and fishing and all that. And
Right.
If you're not capable of that,
figure that out, there's a
yeah.
there's a process that you have to go through and to be able to get that cabin, get there, get the skills to do that, have that would be a process. If you can visualize that in a more realistic way, you can start working at that. That would be a goal. Goal orientation is good. Get to one goal, get to another, and then you go, oh, I can really see this. You can project out then and see the actual thing happening in the real world rather than what that some of they have these ideas that are never going to manifest.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, it's just an impossible. It would be because those things don't exist in real world. And
the reason why I brought that up is because for most men, we're in situations where we have to interact with these people that are living in this fantasy fictional world, right? So we have to figure out what's the best strategy in interacting with these idiots, and so I think the stuff we talk about don't present yourself as alpha male, don't peacock, don't kind of talk yourself down, sort of don't brag about your assets, whatever, right?
The world's much harsher for some people, and we always hear that. Oh, you can become president, you can become a billionaire. No, I can't. That would never permit that, and I don't live in I don't live in that world where that's a possibility for me. Ever.
Right. So we have to kind of understand our community and see where we fit in, and I guess the point I'm trying to make is like the whole interaction with society, like understanding.
Right. If you can see that in your community, if you can see, okay, I can do this. There's a market for this and everything, and it starts building from there. Then you're living in the real world, and don't be disappointed if that ends. A lot of things fail. It's just being more realistic about stuff, and it's like, thinking that I'm going to be Jeff Bezos someday is just not going to work.
Yeah.
But and it's with the picket fence in the house and the wife that's always, she's perfect. She's a Stepford wife. And, there's two children that just run to the door, they embrace you when you come home because they're so happy to see you. That's all fantasy fiction too, because when you get into that real house, then there's responsibility and there's strife and there's angers that happen, and and your kids don't always love you. They hate you for what you're not, what
I know
they should have, and then you get there and it's not what you fictionalized.
Yeah. Oh no, the Simp's calling me. Maybe he's listening to the podcast. I'm just not going to answer the phone. I just don't want to deal with him. It's like, this is ridiculous. I made other plans today. It's funny how I made other plans today too. It is funny.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was perfect timing. Huh? That's how
perfect timing.
I mean, life is perfect timing. Sometimes it's like,
right. I booked it. I booked it. I mean, I could might be able to cancel, but I'm not going to cancel because I don't want to deal with his stress and drama. I just can't do it.
Yeah, you don't want to deal with the woman.
No, I'm not gonna call. I might not even call him back because, quite frankly, I don't even need him. I mean, I don't like look at men that way. I don't like say, "Oh, I need you, don't need you." I was trying to help the guy, and like he just ended up with this, doing this nonsense to me, and it's like, it cost me a lot of money and time and stress, and I was thinking of going back and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. Well, so the point we were talking about, yeah, right, like the fantasy. Like we have to interact with these people. That's what I'm trying to say. In the current, like at least I do. Like for now, I have some exit strategy. I think I'm going to probably lean towards in a few years, where I can get that cabin and kind of do my own thing. We'll see. We'll see if that's the direction I want to go to. But if you're in an urban area or any kind of even small town or even like medium sized city or even a smaller city too, you're still kind of close to a lot of other people there, but they're living in that fantasy fictional thing. So, are you there?
Yeah, I'm just kind of screwing around with
the. Yeah. So that's the thing that I'm kind of wrapping my head around is like, so these are people that we have to interact with, and like they're the ones that like, okay, this woman I used to work with said, "Oh, we got to get you a girlfriend." These are situations come up a lot, right?
Yeah, well, that's counterproductive. Yeah, it's like you can't explain to them about how how you're thinking and how you need to move on and you need to move forward quickly. In some instances, you can't explain that to people. They can't see it. They can't see inside your head. But it should make sense to more people, and it just doesn't.
No, and it's very.
And
I guess you almost have to be like, remember that commercial, The Most Interesting Man in the World? Well, you almost have to be the opposite. Be the most boring person in the world.
Yeah, people could be so supportive if they wanted, if they could just realize that we all have, we have goals, we have dreams, we have these things we want to complete and everything. And other people could be so, but they can't visualize that. And that says a lot about people, about most people, that they can't visualize a solid future or something that's real and tangent.
Yeah.
Some people have the ability to do that. Great. My buddy, the one that I told you about, collected cars all of his life. He visualized it and he put it in action and he did it. And then he retired just a few years ago. He sold all those. He collected GTOs.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about that guy. He had a bunch of cars. Yeah. I remember you telling me about him. Yeah, he refurbished these cars, right?
Yeah, he refurbished. It was just a hobby. That's what he did. He'd see one that was wrecked or needed some work or blown engine. Most of them were blown engines, and he would just go, "Yeah, I'll give you $500 for that." And it's like he did that, and they put it.
Yeah.
You know what the thing is? His parents left him a barn. There was a big red barn that he put.
Yeah.
And he put lifts in there so he can stack cars on top of cars and then just store them.
Yeah.
It was just a vision he had. And it just turned out that those specific cars, the GTOs and it was GTOs and something else, the Plymouth, he liked the Plymouth, and those cars sell for like $60,000 to $70,000 now.
Oh, sure. Yeah, well, that's the thing. You gotta figure out what you want to do, and turn your hobbies into a job. That's a beautiful thing. I mean, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, if I could have had foresight on Babe Ruth cards or Jackie Robinson.
Yeah.
If I could have just had that foresight on that. Some people are gifted with that kind of foresight.
Yeah.
I wasn't. I don't know what my thing is yet, what I'm gifted at. I'm just gifted at being a dick and saying the truth. And I'm never going to pay any money.
I'm the same way. Man, it takes a lot to push me though, boy. I waited a year and a half with this last company. I waited a year and they were pounding me over the head for a year and a half, and I put up with it. And I just had enough. I just had enough. I just can't.
Yeah,
this is just driving me crazy. I said, these people are out of their minds. I mean, and it wasn't just me. And I know it wasn't just me.
Yeah,
it wasn't just me. There were a bunch of other people that were talking about it, and it's known. And I can't say the name of the company, but they were known to be like very, whatever. And
Yeah, I can't remember when I changed in life. I always had that this is enough. I've had enough, and I'm just going to leave thing in me. But
Uh-huh.
I never instituted that. And when you do that, you have to institute those things. And
Yeah.
I went through a lot of really bad situations where I just stuck with it because of that Christian perseverance
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Me too.
suffering. And that's what that puts away. But then I found out, like at one point after Enron and after Mobil Oil, like they would always tell me that like this is the best job you're ever going to get, and
Right. Right.
and you just should stay here. But after I cut that and moved on to a better job, I was like, oh well, that wasn't true. And then
Right.
I learned I should have cut that a long time ago. I should have
Yeah.
just this is enough, and then I would have been so much better in life.
Well, it's funny. I this job I left, I actually made more money because I've been able to study stocks more. It's like it gave me time to, and I've been doing good in the stock market. So even though I haven't been working,
Oh yeah, well,
I
one thing
actually made more because
about
I wasn't paying attention. I would make investments and not pay attention to them.
right, yeah,
But now
but
I'm
you got
buying and trade. Yeah, I'm buying and trading more, and I was able to make more money in the market because that's all I do all day is look at the screen, and I can
right,
make
yeah,
better
you can go
decisions on
actually
the market.
to where
Yeah,
the
so I
company
actually
is,
profited
and
from leaving the company.
you know
Really strange.
if the real insight is like going to the community where the company is or looking at it from a view on the and you can go look on the internet and then you can even probably look up an employee and talk to them and say how's this company doing, and that's gold information. And then they'll say does it look good in the future, and they'll go oh we're planning something really big, that's something you should jump on. Then you could do things like that now and just do your homework.
There's always opportunity everywhere. You just have to. So I'm thinking I might even just start doing retail because I have my mentor, my stocks mentor, the guy that I do stocks with. He was a regional manager for a big outfit, big company. Now he just he does retail now. He does it just to pay the bills. He has his investments already on
Yeah,
hold. He has everything, so he just he doesn't make a ton of money, but he makes enough just to pay his bills, save a couple bucks, and like he's becoming a role model for me. And I'm just saying, well, this is maybe something I want to do, just because with retail, the thing about retail is you don't have to exert as much energy as outside sales. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Outside sales, you're driving through traffic all the time. You're getting in and out of the car. It's like with retail, you just park your car and you get your ass out, and you're standing around a lot, and it's probably
yeah,
could be a little bit boring, but you're not exerting as much energy. The time is a little longer. You might not make as much money as
yeah.
outside sales, but it's a lot. To me, I view it almost as a lot less stressful.
Right.
It
Yeah.
might be better at this point in my life. It might be
Yeah.
something
One
I'm going to consider.
point, the loan before the coffee shop thing, I was gonna do the towels, the bath sets, and sell them retail on Amazon and everything. And then I started working out. I was like, all I really need to do is sell 200,000 of these things at a profit of like $5 a set,
Yeah.
and that's not a lot. And then I'd be retired.
Yeah, yeah. You can. There's a lot of ways to do it.
In America, there's like you should be able to sell 200,000 of anything in America.
I used to, I used to joke with my friend. Because we were in medical sales I've been doing it 20 years. He's been doing it like 30 years. And I used to tell him, I said, we'll call him Ed. I used to say, Ed, I says, you know what my dream job is that guy in the movie theater that you give your ticket to? I said, I want to be that guy and
Uh,
just say, hey, it's theater number 4. And then, because everyone's happy when they're walking in the movie theater anyway, right?
yeah,
Like, so I just want to be that guy. So yeah, thanks for your ticket. Rip the ticket in half and say it's student number 4. I was just kind of joking around, but who the hell knows? Maybe end
I
up doing it.
I was an
Yeah, it's
usher.
not a lot. You're not gonna make a lot of money or anything, but hey, it's something to do. You get out of the house and it's low stress anyway. I just kind of
You do know I was before I went in the army. I did a little work a year I was an usher at a movie theater, and I would just take the ticket and walk them down to their seat, and I had to wear the little hat and everything. And it was right at the time when John Travolta Staying Alive, that movie,
yeah.
and it was the most popular movie ever. And we had to watch that like I don't know how many times over and over and over again. And me and the other usher knew all the words to the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There was one office, doctor's office I used to go to. They played what's that movie with the baseball, the young kids playing baseball? It's a popular movie.
oh yeah, my kids love that movie.
Oh, what was it called? Yeah, what was it called?
It was with the
The
big dog,
monster.
and the dog was in the backyard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the dog was in the back. Yeah, what was that called?
Oh God, I can't
I just
remember.
saw it the other day. I just saw, but this used to run on a loop at this office.
Yeah.
I would go to this office like once every like 2 weeks. And I'd have to wait for to talk to the doctor, take like 10, 20 minutes sometimes. So I knew every single line I had to watch.
Yeah.
It'd be
It's
playing on
funny
a
how you
loop. I'm like, what are
learn
you
that.
guys doing? Like, put a freaking different movie in. And what was that called? Yeah, what was that movie called? You know what I'm talking about, right? With the dog, and yeah, you're right. Yeah. No, you're right. The John Travolta, yeah. I used to have such a good attitude, Joe, when I used to
Oh,
work.
Sandlot.
Sandlot, that was the one. They would play it
Sandlot.
on a loop. I'm like, oh my goodness, here we
Yeah,
go again. And
it was Travolta and Saturday Night Live, and yeah.
yeah, the steak one, or what was the line with the pork chop or the steak, or one pork chop? Oh, that's funny.
Oh, I can hardly remember anymore. It's like I don't want to remember. It was nightmarish.
Yeah, yeah. I used
Yeah,
to have such a good attitude when I used to I was like such a hard worker, and I still am. But it's like it's like you get beat down, man. It's like I got beat down over the years. Like you just get
yeah.
treated like garbage.
But we
And
did
it's
this.
like the difference is I don't think anything's changed. I think I've changed in my ability to really kind of have a good bullshit detector.
Yeah,
And I don't like and no one should be disrespected that way. It's like
yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah. I think I was 15 at that time, and uh, he would say, the two ushers stand by side in the main entrance, and then we found out we did this thing, and we know all the words, and he would say it real softly, and then I would say the next line, and then he would say the next line, and we found that the people started moving back towards us just so they could hear us because it was funny.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is funny.
They kind of appreciated what we were doing.
That was a weird movie too. That one guy jumped off the bridge. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
weird. Yeah. I'm like, why are you jumping off the bridge? Like you're a young guy. Like
It was
what the
very popular. The Bee Gees were hugely popular at that time with the
Oh
same
yeah.
the disco thing, and
He killed
I,
himself too, Andy Gibb, right? Or drug overdose.
oh yeah, the younger Gibb killed himself, and then the two other ones just died of it naturally. There's one left, I think. One Gibb brother left, and
Yeah, yeah.
Barry Gibb, and he lives in Florida. Uh, that was a classic time in life, if you got to live through that
Yeah.
era, it was classic.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I was probably born around that time.
Yeah, I was a teenager, and full of my
Saturday Night Fever, is that what it was called?
Saturday Night Fever.
What year was that movie? 77 or
Yeah, I can't remember. 77, I think 76.
Travolta, yeah, John
Yeah,
Travolta.
I can tell you what the next movie was. It was The
77.
Goodbye Girl was next, and we had learned all the words to The Goodbye Girl too. So
Okay.
Travolta, and it went into The Goodbye Girl, and then I think I quit after that.
Yeah. Barry Miller, that was the guy that jumped off the bridge.
Yeah.
Barry Miller, he was the actor. He jumped off the bridge or whatever the fuck. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah,
That
the
was
only regret I have from that era is not stealing that sign.
yeah.
There was the sign on the side of the movie theater that started in large print and it went down to small print, and it described being what was it being it was the big hippie argument at that time was being what do they call that, communalism and that stuff is like so it started, and he said, if you do this, you're part of the man. If you do this, you're part of, and it got smaller and smaller and smaller. And then at the end, it said, if you've read all this, you are a communalist.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that was the funniest poster, but it had a deep meaning. I wish I would have just snagged that and ran with it one day.
Yeah. He was a big star, Travolta, huh? Back in the day.
Oh, yeah, he was huge. The Bee Gees were the biggest thing out ever. They were so huge. It was like, and Travolta was like iconic, and it was perfect for the time too. It's like Vietnam had just ended, and um, people needed distraction.
Yeah, yeah, he was on Welcome Back, Carter.
Yeah, welcome back, Cotter. Cotta.
Yeah, that was an interesting time. Because I remember my aunts and uncles. They would, go over, my grandmother's house, and they would, and because they were like teenagers, and I was like a young guy, 5, 6, 7 years old, and they'd have all the like the record, like the albums, like
Yeah.
Chuck Mangione and
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I
I
love
thought it was
Chuck
really cool. I'm like, ooh, like my first introduction to music, right? Chuck Mangione. Who was the
Chuck Mangione,
Chicago?
yeah, that was one of my that's still one of my favorite songs. What is that? Chuck Mangione and the not the Spanish Fly.
But no, he was. I remember him. I remember because that was the first time I'm looking at these record albums, and I thought they were so cool. Who's this guy with the Chuck Mangione? Like, what did he play, trumpet or something?
Yeah, that's where I get my love for Roxy Music too. Roxy Music was like out.
Yeah,
And it's like he was just like super big and
yeah. And Chicago was the big
Chicago
thing.
And Stevie Nicks and
Grease. How about Grease? That's another Travolta movie. He was a big star. People don't understand. Like I remember. Like I remember. Like I was a kid, like young kid, but Travolta was like he was huge. Big time, man. Yeah. He was huge. He was huge. He was like, I mean, who's the biggest star today? Like Bieber? Like I don't think he's as big.
I don't know if anybody compares Will Smith or.
Yeah, he was bigger than Will Smith. He was bigger. Like Travolta. Was bigger.
He was iconic. Yeah.
He was iconic. Yeah, he was like who was the biggest star? Who would you consider to be the biggest? Like he was bigger than Tom Cruise is now. He was bigger than
bigger than Bogey.
Who?
Bogey.
Bogey. I don't know who's Bogey. Is that the guy on YouTube?
No, the 30s actor Bogey.
Oh, Humphrey Bogart.
Bogart, yeah.
No, he was bigger. Travolta was bigger.
Yeah. Travolta was probably bigger, yeah.
Yeah, because when he did that Grease, and you combine Saturday Night Fever with Grease, and then Welcome Back, Carter, and he was as big as it. Like he was bigger than Eddie Murphy. When Eddie Murphy, remember when Eddie Murphy got really big? He was bigger than Eddie Murphy.
He was bigger than Eddie Murphy, yeah.
Travolta was actually bigger. But I remember 48 Hours came out, and that's when Eddie Murphy was a big star too with that, and then also with Saturday Night Live.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those are different times back then. Different times. Like back then, it was like like I'm not. I mean, you're not that much older than me. I mean, but like remember, like the TV was like a big deal. Like right, Happy Days coming on at 8:00 at this time. It's like, so we all get by the. We
were oversaturated with like a million choices. You had like 3, 5, or 8, and 19, and 1, maybe 43 or 55, and that was it. That's all you had. And
it was a different. I think it was a better. It was. I know at least for me, I think it would have been better to grow up during that time, like than right now. Right now, this social media, and I mean, we're using social media now to shoot the shit here, and it is beneficial.
Yeah, that's good. Social media is good.
Yeah, but overall, like this whole, like you said, there's too many choices. Even with sports, like you used to get like one game a week. Remember, they used to have like a 1 or 2 games. You'd have one game like on a Saturday, and then you'd have like one game on a Monday night baseball or whatever.
Oh yeah, if you had to work, you couldn't see the 1:00 baseball games. You just had to listen to them on your transition radio at work, and but that was better. I remember Rick Sutcliffe, was it, pitching a no-hitter, and everybody, they put it on in the shop, and Gaylord Perry pitching a no-hitter, and you just look forward to those. Nolan Ryan was pitching a no-hitter, and they put it on the shop, and we're all just standing there like in expectation, just listening to it, like this is going to be a no-hitter.
Yeah. And Monday Night Football was really big. Like that's another thing. People like younger generation now, they don't like Monday Night Football was a big deal, man. With Howard Cosell.
Monday Night Football came around, and that
was a big deal.
Was always big. The old guys with Sunday and watch their football game, and you weren't allowed in. And
Yeah, yeah, and the TV was like,
yeah, Saturday morning cartoons and
yeah, it was just a simpler time back then. I mean, I think people had more humanity in them,
yeah, even with you had to carry a quarter in your pocket or a dime at that time to use a phone, and if you wanted to communicate with your friends, you had to call them
Right.
on a dial phone, and then it went through like the grapevine. We used to call the grapevine. A friend would call a friend, and a friend would call a friend, and that's how you know where to meet. There was no texting or say picking up your cell phone and saying no. One friend you had, there was a trust that this would develop, and this guy called this guy, and this guy called this guy, and everybody knew where everybody was going to be.
Yeah.
And that was much better because the anticipation of seeing if it was going to work out or how it was going to work out or who was going to show up was always like there was that delight and this social thing that was happening. That was just like a telephone. That was the high tech.
Yeah. I know, because I remember there wasn't a lot of phone calls that came in usually. Well, I remember like my uncle telling me stories like when the Italians moved into upstate, they were upstate New York. They would all visit each other, and no one like you rarely made a phone call to say, "Hey, I'm coming over." You just came over.
Right.
You
Yeah.
just came
Sometimes
over, knocked on the
you
door. Yeah, I mean, obviously,
knocked on the door. Is Billy home?
yeah, yeah, and like the Italians, they would all they lived in this community, and it was like immaculate community. Like everyone kept up their
Yeah,
house.
that kind of forced you to keep in touch with your friend's habits
Yeah,
too. So you
yeah.
knew when he was going to be home. You knew when he wasn't going to be home.
Right, and now it's like a big no to go to someone's house without telling them, or
Yeah, should
that's
just
how
show
the
up at the
culture's
house.
changed.
It's like,
Yeah, now it's a big no. You have to call and give a notice or whatever. So back
yeah,
then, they would just knock on the door. Hey, yeah, come on in. Hey, whatever. It's just I don't know. It just seems like I don't know. It seems like times were simpler back then. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you're not that much older than me, but I just do remember glimpses of it.
right. There was just less stress, and
You noticed that yourself? There was less stress.
there was less stress. And when you went out you walked a lot, and you walked over your friend's house, or you took the bus, and you rode your bike, and it was a lot of your activities were planned around activity, and you know, going somewhere like that was like out of the you made activities where we were just going to go down to this place here just to see it, like because we never seen that before and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
was close. It was like, okay, we'll walk 2.5 miles over here and then go see that because Jimmy lives over there and he says there's a park, or something like that. It was just all new and
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah. Now the cell phones.
Yeah, now
I don't know.
they get on Google and they go, yeah, I can see it. There's a park there.
I I talked to this lady because I was looking at renting a room from her, and she got back to me right away. And she goes, "Are you on Facebook?" It's like, I just met you, lady. It's like, no, first of all, I'm not on Facebook, and even
I'm
if I
not
was,
going to friend you.
yeah, I don't even know you. It's like I don't even know you. It's like whatever. It's like I'm not this picky guy. I don't give out information, but it's like I don't know. I just thought it was really kind of weird. Like, are you on Facebook?
Yeah, nobody wants to go to my face. That's my horror garden.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I remember when Facebook started getting big in the mid 2000s. Like everyone's like, "You're the only guy that's in our high school class." Like I had 180, 200 people in my high school class. Like, you're the only guy that's not on Facebook.
Yeah,
It's like yeah, because I'm smarter than you, freaking knuckleheads. Have you
yeah,
ever heard of MGTOW? No, just kidding.
yeah. My horror garden experiment never really worked out. It was like it's just sitting there. My Facebook, I like 5,000 people on my Facebook account, and the
Yeah,
horror garden experiment never exploded like I thought it would.
yeah, yeah.
As a,
Yes.
I noticed like you get the sexy girl, like you want to be my friend, and I
Yeah,
noticed there's so many of them. So I put 2,500 of them on my Facebook. Then I added the Christians, and then I added the MGTOWs, and I
yeah,
said this is just going to explode.
yeah, yeah.
And it never worked out. The MGTOWs are more refined than you think they are. And then the Christians are always just trying to push Christianity, and the horrors just want you to send them a credit card number.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, damn, that was disappointing, anticlimactic.
Oh man, these women are crazy with these escorts. Like you see all these escort.
Yeah,
And then you
yeah,
see like Cash App and send me a Cash App and
yeah. It's like
whore and like this. It's the celebration of being a whore. Like it's like a you see it on Twitter and Instagram and
yeah. Now I
you
don't
see
know if
all these
the
professional whores,
Christian
OnlyFans and
there's a
yeah.
I can recheck someday to find out if the Christians had all proselyted all the whores into their wives. That's a possibility that happened there.
Yeah, yeah. God, it's just so weird. Yeah, time has changed. Like the whores used to be on magazines. Like you get like an
Right.
ad.
Yeah. Now they're right on Facebook and
Yeah, it used to be like a big like I remember back when in the 80s, right? Like you would I was a kid. I didn't I really didn't understand anything. You read you see like with certain magazines it'd be like I'm a whore and you're it's like you know what I mean? And like
oh yeah, that
what
was
is this?
Spectre magazine or something.
Yeah,
There's
and
that.
you wouldn't see pictures. You wouldn't see pictures of the whore, but
She just advertised and yeah,
right. Well, I think back then it was probably more street horse, probably working the street. I
yeah,
think
there was
now they're doing more
what was
escort
it?
stuff. And,
You always had those magazines that showed up. There were the free magazines, and you
yeah,
just grab one, and that was like wherever the town you're in, like Schenectady nightlife, and then they would advertise.
yeah. We had this street called Albany Street, and all the
Yeah,
homes would be on Albany Street. It's like a horror, like crack houses. I mean, I feel bad for people that have to live there, but
yeah,
it is what it is. But I'm just telling the truth. That's just Albany Street used to be like where the horrors used to be. It's like a big reputation, right?
right, yeah. So that was they'd advertise and those things. It was what would you call it, and even what we did back then, the men's rights and the equal rights stuff. Those are just little pamphlets or pamphlets. You call it pamphleteering, and a lot of things that even those kind of magazines were pamphleteered.
Mm-hmm.
Someone would sit there and give them out. They'd pay a kid like me to take like 200 of them and just hand them out.
Yeah, yeah,
And they'd pay me like $10 for like 200 or something like that. I'd hand out. And yeah, people would pamphleteer the areas, and that's illegal. I don't know if it's illegal now, but that's how like you get the little pamphlets, and it was like men's rights were one of the thing, and then equal rights was one of the pamphlets that you would see a lot.
yeah.
Usually on the bus, people would leave them on a bus. You'd pick it up and read it, and it's always the same thing. It was feminism, men's rights, equal rights, and Black Lives Matter, some kind of version back then of Black Lives Matter. It was always the same. People think things changed all that much. No, it really hasn't.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, the topics are pretty much still the same.
Topics are the same. It's just the access to the information, probably.
Yeah, the access to information is more freer. Like you can now go listen to MGTOW, and you can go listen to the men's rights things, and we're saying the same things. We're saying,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so MGTOW I guess kind of started. Well, I think it's it's a much higher level than men's rights.
Yeah.
Level.
Oh yeah, it's an advanced level. Those they were just like those pamphlets were just very straightforward and kind of a little bit hokey, straightforward, and usually a cartoon that represented some kind of metaphysical thing that was happening. Yeah.
Oh, Hank wants to come in. It's too late.
Yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up real soon, and I want to have to go get some stuff for my stomach and drink some water, and
no, it's good to reminisce and because it was like a simpler time. It definitely was a simpler time. Now
Yeah.
but I guess you can choose to just ignore all this nonsense for the most part if you
Yeah,
want
you
to.
can choose to ignore all the nonsense if you want. Yeah, Hank,
Yeah,
he can come in like if he wants tomorrow. We're gonna do the Sunday about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, or say.
yeah. You want to do one tomorrow? Or,
Yeah, we'll do our usual at 4 or 5 o'clock. Let you get enough time sleep, and
yeah, yeah, yeah. That sounds better. Yeah, because I got to check into another place and.
okay, and then
Well,
yeah, do it
yeah,
tomorrow and continue. And then Hank, if he wants to
yeah.
come in,
We'll let Hank in tomorrow. Maybe yeah, if he wants to come around and
yeah,
shoot the shit with us. Yeah.
okay, yeah, we're going on 4 hours here, and I'm kind of tired. And it's late.
Yes, yes. Any closing thoughts? No, just kidding.
Yeah, traditional conservatism has failed us, and there's no use
Yeah,
going back. And the MGTOWs know this, and they're trying to pump the religion on us and as some alternative to reality. But we know better, and I wish they would just please stay away from MGTOW. We don't need them around. We don't desire. MGTOW doesn't advertise because they just come to us, and that's your fault.
yeah, yeah. That's the gray wolf
Yeah.
uh, quote. We don't recruit. We just wait for them to arrive.
Yeah, yeah. If you keep doing traditional conservative, they'll just keep coming to us. We don't have to advertise.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And hopefully, hopefully people can practice harm reduction and not get to that point where they have to
Right. Yeah. We're
use
just giving
MGTOW
men
classes.
methods of harm reduction,
Yeah,
and that's our job. And it's because we're caring, responsible people, not because we're the devil.
where MGTOW is not a last resort. It's actually you're doing it out of like you're taking the initiative to do it. Not you're not doing it because I got nowhere else to go. Well, which is okay if that's the case, but
Right.
you want to try to get there before bad stuff happens to you. Yeah,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And them arguing against it's not going to do anything but send us more business.
that's right. Yeah,
So with that, thanks for everybody coming around. Thanks for wanting to come in, Hank. I'm sorry couldn't get you in earlier. Uh, everybody that's been here and everybody that's going to watch this in the future, you know how it is. Thanks for just being a MGTOW. MGTOW.